This is the Bear Country Outdoors Barely a Podcast. I'm your host, Doug Joyce, and with me is James Forsland and Kris Cantrell. Thanks for joining.
All right, we are finally doing a podcast. We've been gone for a little bit. At least these guys have been off on vacation. Mm-hmm. I've been off working my ass off, getting ready for Montana.
Pump the brakes, Doug. I was working for Bear Country.
Hey, I was too.
Yeah. Anyways, so we got a lot of stories to tell tonight, so I'm going to go ahead and let these guys go ahead and let it rip.
I guess we'll start out with Kris, because Kris was the first one off when he went to Argentina. So tell us what the Argentina experience was.
We're going to start at the beginning? We're starting with Argentina?
Like every great story.
Yeah, you're already getting into it. You might as well continue.
Okay. It started in November of 1979. Born a bouncing baby boy.
Not that far back.
Not that far. We don't
the way Kris tells stories.
We're going to be here all night.
All night.
Yeah.
Was super excited to go and super not excited because I couldn't bring my guns, right? Mm-hmm. So Andy Kelso, who was on the podcast, had just gone a couple of weeks previously. And so I asked him, and he's like, no, we didn't bring any guns. It's a giant pain in the ass. It's okay.
Yeah.
So we get all our stuff together. First, kind of trip that I'd been on for hunting that I hadn't brought my own gun. Not a big fan of that. Still not a big fan of that. But we go. I set it up to where it's 20 hours to get there on a plane, and that's with a 2.5 hour layover, right? So we go to SeaTac. We fly to Atlanta, Georgia. We have a 2.5 hour layover. Then we fly from Atlanta to Buenos Aires, right?
Okay.
So long flights. I'm with my dad. He just turned 72. It's just gonna suck, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna plan a couple extra days in Buenos Aires so we can just kind of
That's a lot of flying.
Yeah, we got to catch our breath, right?
How many times did your dad get up to pee on the airplane?
Holy shit, bro!
like 100 times.
I was pretty good at flying when I was younger, but nowadays, I really don't like being on a plane.
It's brutal.
Well, that's
brutal,
too.
That's a long time, yeah.
And they pack you in, the seats are tighter and tighter and tighter, and of course, so. I tried to, so I bought the flights, and I didn't want to pay for first class. It was $8,000, right? So
gosh, yeah.
I'm I bought us kind of middle of the road seats, and then I was like, oh, okay, I'll upgrade here and here, and we got premium plus and comfort plus is because we're flying Delta. It's kind of towards.
They make you feel a little bit better.
Yeah, you get free cocktails and shit. It's it's not first class seats.
Yeah.
So on the way there, the first was the Comfort Plus, which was not great. It's tight, and my dad's a big dude too, right? So kind of cramped. We stretch it out in Atlanta. We get some terrible airport food. Get back on the plane. Now we got the Premium Plus, and it was better, but it still wasn't great, right? So when we get off, I'm sore shit. I'm he's got to be hurting.
Yeah.
So we get it's a super cool hotel. We leave from the airport, and they don't have Uber there. It's just taxis, just taxis. That's
old
it,
school,
right?
Yeah.
Old school.
Mm-hmm.
We're flying in. It's the biggest city I've ever seen in my life, and I've been all around the world.
This is Buenos Aires?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I Google it, how many people live in Buenos Aires? And it's 15 million people.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, that's insane.
Dude, it was massive.
Well, look at Seattle. Seattle's what? Under 3 million, isn't it?
Yeah, it was you just kept going, and it's the outside. I had a bunch of pictures I think I posted on Instagram or Facebook or something, but it was houses, tight houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Packed neighborhoods, and then all of a sudden, they just got taller and taller and taller and taller and taller. And downtown where we stayed at, we walked 8 miles from where we were at. It was round trip, so 4 miles to the Capitol and back. The whole time we didn't pass a single one-story building.
Really?
Did not exist. All of them are 10 to 15 stories. It's the craziest thing. You do not see the sunlight unless it's directly over the top, or you're in one. There's a park every block, the big park. It's probably one of the nicest cities I've ever been in. Super clean.
Really?
Yeah, a couple homeless people, really nice.
Nice.
And so we're bumming around the city. We're having a great time. The food is super cheap. So you show up and. We get to this hotel, and it's the hotel's a building it's my house is wider than the hotel, like quite a bit
Okay.
wider. I mean,
So it's just like a little.
yeah. Like you
Couple
walk
rooms.
in, I'm like, okay, this is weird, right?
Like a bed, like a bed and breakfast.
yeah, but
kinda
they're
deal?
15 stories tall,
Okay.
right? So we go up to the 3rd floor. There's only 4 rooms per floor. If
Okay.
it tells you how big this building
Yeah.
is.
Okay.
And if we go upstairs, and it's like the sexy honeymoon suite. There's like this giant hand carved. It almost looks like a canoe. This wood bathtub, right in the middle of the room. And I look at my dad, and I'm like, maybe they got the wrong idea about us. You know,
Yeah.
like 2 older, gray-haired men. You know, maybe they think we're on our honeymoon.
Was there like rose petals sprinkled up?
Dude, it was
with a trail going to the bathtub.
smelled
man.
of jasmine.
Meat and cheese.
Dude, yeah, it was. The
The room didn't smell the same after.
bathtubs were pretty cool. I mean, it was a giant wooden bathtub, but it was in the middle of the room, and I'm like, okay, this is weird. So, anyways, we're like, obviously, we're
Who's
hungry.
taking a bath first?
I'm like, Dad, you or me or together or So
Back to our roots, son.
So a lot of people
Boy.
don't speak English there, which was surprising. I just thought like everyone speaks English because that's classic American, right?
Yeah.
And so we walk around, and I have like Google Translate, and I'm like, my Spanish is crap, right? And I'm trying to figure out, where should we go? Where should we eat? People are giving us like, hey, you should go to this restaurant or whatever. But the restaurant that we went to have dinner at opens at 7. Dude, Argentina wakes up at like 7 p.m.
Really?
Like people eat at like 9 o'clock at night. Like everyone eats at 9 p.m. It was the weirdest thing.
Kind of like over in Italy, similar to that.
Yeah, it was super late.
Yeah.
My dad had been to Spain, right? And he talked about like how like in the roads they just have like that's where the cafe seating is and stuff. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of that there, which is super weird. Yeah, just like in the middle of the road, that's where you hang out and eat your food, and like a lot of like outside seating, like on the edge of the road, like on the sidewalk that's this wide. There's a little tiny chair and a table right there. And so it was kind of fun. Like we went and had coffees at night and shit like that. But anyway, so we're walking around, and he's like, you just got cash, right? And I go, yeah, I just got, I got cash and card or whatever, but I don't have any like pesos. And I was like, shit, I wonder what the ratio is. Like I'm thinking like back like in Mazatlan, Mexico on my senior trip when it was like 10-1,
Yeah.
So in Argentina, the pesos was like 1,150-1.
What?
Yeah.
Dude.
So I was like, holy shit, like.
So you have to walk around with a stack of cash
Dude,
like
just
that?
like a wad of cash. Yeah, to buy like some bubble gum. So I'm like, holy shit. And then we start looking around, and the empanadas are a big thing there, right? So like basically hot pockets.
Yeah.
And
all different kinds of flavors.
Dude, a million different kinds of flavors. And they were so
good.
Freaking good. Dude, empanadas were like, I would say on average they were like 75 cents.
Really?
Yeah, because they were 800 pesos, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, fuck, dude. Like,
you're like, I could eat these every single day.
Dude, you could live there
for
so
like
cheap.
$5.
It was so cheap to eat there. It was crazy cheap. So that we went to this restaurant called Favor. Right, and they're like, "Oh, it's the best steakhouse. You gotta go to this." All right, so we go. Really fancy, right? It's kind of neat. Like everything is, everything's old. Like nothing's old here, right? Where we're at, like they have buildings that were like 1860, and like shit like that. Like we don't have anything like that here. So it was kind of cool. And we're walking around and we're looking at all this stuff, and we go upstairs in this restaurant, and the guys are just like. Like white glove kind of service. They got the thing like the towel draped over their arm, and they're like, what kind of, and their wine list. So everyone drinks red wine there. Mm-hmm. Everybody, there's no beer. There's 0 bourbon, by the way, which I went to every liquor store on the planet. Doesn't exist.
Wow.
And Malbec is like what they're famous for there, right? So like, oh yeah, we'll have some Malbec. Holy shit, it was good.
Yeah.
Like super good. The meat was incredible. Like, so we had like, I had a giant freaking ribeye and like mashed potatoes and we had a couple bottles of wine and we had dessert and all sorts of shit and appetite. We had to do just tons and tons. All we did was eat that first night, and the bill was like, I don't even remember how much it was. I don't think it was $200 for like, I mean,
all the shit you got,
dude. It was here. It would have been $1,000.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because I got the most expensive thing on the menu everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got some of their best.
Everything that was the best.
Yeah. Like, I don't like want the most expensive bottle of wine, but I like one of your best bottles of wine. Like, what would you recommend? You know, and I didn't even ask how much it was, and he brings it out, and like the bottle of wine was like $65.
Wow.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
which here that'd be like lower middle maybe.
Dude, like a $65 bottle of wine, like you can get that at Costco here, you know. And
right.
Like, you know, like I'm thinking, you know, we have some buddies who are or higher like wine snob type people, you know. A good bottle of wine, you can spend $1,000 easy, like no problem, right? And I'm like, 65, you know, it's like this is, and the steaks were like $35 or something, you know, and dude, they were giant and they were so good.
I'm surprised you didn't like load your carry-on with a bunch of wine and like fly it back.
I thought about it.
Yeah.
I got gifts for the family, and it was like I was packed to the brim.
I wonder what their regulations. I wonder if you can bring wine and act like that. But
it was good.
Yeah.
Like we had some really good wine.
I don't think there is regulations.
So we walk all around the city. City's incredible. Like I turn into 110% old guy. I'm walking around the architecture. Like everything's made out of like stone, and it's almost 200 years old, and it's perfect, and it's crazy, and it's massive. Everything's massive. Like their state capitol building was fucking insane. Like, dude, it was wild. There was like a horse and a chariot that was like 40 feet tall, but it was 400 feet up in the air, and you're just like, holy shit, dude, it was crazy.
Yeah, stonemasons are.
It was
pretty amazing.
It was so wild. So we do the city. We eat our freaking till our guts are coming out, and then we hop on another plane and we go to La Pampa. And I'm trying to remember the name of the town we flew to, but anyways, so we get off, and then we take this van, this like cargo van with a shitload of people in it. There's like 10 other people in there, and we go out to camp. And there's like two lodges, like there's a big fancy one, and then the poor people lodge. And so me and my dad were in the poor people lodge with one other dude from Alabama.
What was that guy's name? He commented on something on, I think it was on Instagram, and he was, I was like, who is this guy? And apparently, obviously, he knew you.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You knew him.
Yeah.
But.
So I called him Bama the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice dude, and younger guy. He's like you guys. I think he was 34.
Okay.
And
that's quite a bit younger than me, but
yeah, 45. I could
closer to Doug's age.
I could have been his dad.
Okay.
You know, I was. You know, I mean, I didn't kiss a girl till I was like 15, but yeah, I could have been his dad at 11. You know. So we show up and they have like a house manager for each place, right? Mm-hmm. So we show up and this dude, big dude,
Argentinian.
Like, so here's to pump the brakes on that real quick. I was shocked. I'd never been there, but you know you have a preconceived idea of when you go somewhere of like how it's going to be and what it's going to look like, and like I knew the people would speak Spanish. I showed up. Everyone looked like me.
Really?
Everybody was white.
Really?
Everybody.
In Argentina.
So yeah, it was weird. Like everyone, like no one was like, you know, when I think like Argentina, I think like Mexico, like they're brown people. You know, they're not. They're white, like white. They're not even tan.
Okay.
Yeah, which is weird because I mean we walked the city for days. Like 95% of the people look just like regular old white people.
And they speak Spanish though.
Everyone speaks Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah, which is weird because. They're not white. They're not big. Like they weren't big people there either. By the way, like people were smaller.
Okay.
There was no one my size.
Okay.
They were like 6 feet or under.
Okay.
Everyone was skinny.
Okay.
Everybody. There was like 4 fat people there in the whole country. Like,
really?
No one was fat. It was the weirdest thing.
Maybe it must be their diet.
But not fit.
They're all eating real food.
Not like jacked though. I saw maybe 2 or 3 like muscular people. No, there's no gyms there. No one lifts weights. The hotel didn't have any weights.
They don't give a shit about
they work.
lifting weights.
They work.
They walk around.
Yeah.
And they eat like good food,
real
like
food.
Good, clean, real food, and drink red wine.
Well, there
and
you
so
go.
I'm like, okay,
that's the key to life.
There's a key to life
right there.
So back to back to when we show up at the lodge deal, right? And this guy greets us, and he looks like Inigo Montoya.
Who's that?
From Princess Bride, remember?
Oh, okay, yeah.
My name is Inigo Montoya. Did you kill my father? Prepare to die. He looked just he looked like a Spaniard, right?
Okay.
Like not from Argentina, but from Spain. Like very, very, not even freaking close, right? But he had like a freaking great big black mustache.
Okay.
And he was kind of like he was white, but he had like an olive tint to his skin, and you could tell like he was like kind of like he looked like a gaucho, right? Like he looked like a cowboy, like a tough guy. Like if I said something, he could punch me in the mouth, and I wouldn't like it, right? Like I could tell he was a tough dude.
Yeah.
And had cowboy boots on, and was really nice. Perfect English, right?
Okay.
And even though it was a second language, so we're talking, and he was like our house manager, right? So he took care of everything. So he goes, come in, they give us cocktails, we hang out, we're looking at the lodge, it's freaking awesome, and they feed you like right away. Dude, all we did was eat. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner were like giant meals.
Really?
Giant, and the most elaborate meals. Like, if you guys are listening, you didn't see in my pictures, the food is like the fanciest, like 5-star Michelin.
Yeah.
There's flowers and shit in the food. I mean, it was wild. It was really, really good. So lots of wine with dinner, excellent food, dessert every single night. And so we go out the first night, and they go, we don't bring a gun. We just bring our binoculars, and we're just going to like walk around the property. This property was 7,000 acres we're hunting.
Okay.
So he goes, we're just going to come out, and you're going to glass, and we're going to kind of show you like, hey, this is how we hunt. These are the animals. I'll show you what we're looking for. I think maybe just to like, I don't know. So we walk out, and we glass, and I'm like, I could be done right now. Like there was critters all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, like seriously.
You're like,
why we're not going to bring a gun the first day? It's like, what the fuck? I came down here to kill shit.
Well, I literally told the guy, I'm like, who wrote your business plan? Because they did a shit job. Like, I'm not saying you're doing it wrong, but trust me, I run a lot of businesses.
You're losing money here,
You're
bud.
losing money, bud.
Yeah, utilize that time.
Think about how many days that you've wasted just doing that.
Well, you're there for X amount of days, right? And what are you going to do if you tag out on the first day?
You're going to go kill more shit.
You're probably going to spend some more money, right?
Yeah. And there was like, so obviously their big thing there was stags. They had red stags that were just like, dude, they had multiple stags over 600 inches.
Wow.
Multiple. Like a lot. I would say their average stag there was probably 450 inches.
So when you were first leaving, you were thinking, oh, their stags aren't that magnificent.
Yeah, like, man, like me. Like, I didn't really look at them because I'm like, oh, I'm going to go shoot a 2,500-pound buffalo. That's going to be rad, right? So I show up, and I'm like, holy shit, look at these stags. But then you look at the prices, and it's like a stag up to 600 inches was like $45,000, and I was like, I think a divorce would cost me more than $45,000, so I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. But I will tell you this. It was awful tempting.
Really?
Because there was a couple stags where I was like, holy shit, that thing's incredible.
Yeah.
I really wanted to shoot it, but I didn't.
I'm proud of you.
It was not, dude, I went to Argentina and only shot one animal. I don't know if
I was impressed. I was like, you know what? That shows major self-control.
Dude, it was super hard. It was very hard. It was very, very hard.
I was waiting for the next pitcher to come in, and it was like, your dad.
Yeah.
Your dad.
I had to leave a day early. I don't want to jump ahead in the story, but I told the guy, I said, hey, reschedule my flight, and I paid for a flight to get out of there a day early to go back to Argentina. Because I was like, I can't stay here for another day. And that's a whole other story. But first night, we just go glass. Second day, we go out with my dad, and we're looking for buffalo, and we don't get on them that morning. And then that night, was it that God, dude? I've been gone for so long. I'm trying to remember the days, but long story short, he's up first, right?
Okay.
And so we get on these buffalo. I'm running the camera, and our guides. So he has a guide, I have a guide, but we're hunting together, right? Mm-hmm. And my guide speaks so broken English, right? Like, okay. And then my dad's guide speaks as much English as I speak Spanish, right? Okay. Like El Baño, Cerveza, that's, so we're trying to communicate. it's not going great. And we're trying to – the buffalo are really hard to judge because it's not like a deer or elk where one's like, oh, that's massive, It's like we're talking a game of inches.
Yeah.
And so we sneak up on this herd, and I'm like, I don't know what a big buffalo is, Like they all look big to me. And we're getting closer, and we're originally talking like 150 yards was a long shot, right? And again, it's a borrowed rifle. No loopholed scopes. Their scopes were garbage. They were absolutely terrible. We're shooting I think a 375 H&H, which is fine. It was a decent gun. I think it was like a Seiko or something. It wasn't. It was a decent rifle, but they don't allow you to shoot them when you get there. So that was a huge pet peeve. I had a long talk with the house guy and the manager how I thought that was a terrible rule, and just coming from a gun guy, you should always be able to shoot your rifle before
100%.
hunt, especially when there's a wound policy and all sorts of stuff. And they talked about noise and bullet costs, and I was like, hey, a buffalo's $7,500. You can spare a $5 bullet,
right?
So
or $100 fucking noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever ticket or something.
Well, I mean, you can.
They just don't want to blow out the ranch.
I mean, it's 7,000 acres, dude. I'm sure you could have a range down the
area
road
somewhere.
You need to have an area down the road. I think anyone who goes on a hunt abroad, you should always shoot your firearm or bow or whatever you're hunting with first before you go on a hunt.
Especially if you've never shot it.
Yeah, and that's a hard and fast rule for me. And I had a problem with that with the guys, and I talked with both of the house guys, which was slightly uncomfortable. But I was just like, hey, just from a hunting perspective, not even a bit in a business perspective, you're going to lose customers because I'm never going to come back there if you don't allow us to do certain things, and shooting a gun was one. And they were very receptive. They were very nice guys. So they were just like, hey, thank you for letting us know. We'll work on that, and we'll get a range that's maybe farther away so we can go shoot the guns. Mm-hmm. So it went well, but it was one of those things where it's just kind of a little shell shock at first, we can't shoot the guns. What are you talking about?
You just have to believe, and that kind of takes away from the confidence too.
Yeah. So I told him, I was like, it's a big confidence thing. Even if you shoot, let a guy shoot a box of bullets, big deal. It's $100 or whatever. If he's going to go out and spend 10 or 20 or $50,000, who gives a shit, right?
Or at least give him the option. Hey, if it's really that big of a deal, the ammo cost or whatever. Mm-hmm. Just be like, it's going to be tacked. If you want to go shoot prior, it's going to be tacked onto your bill.
Yeah.
And I would take it. I would be like, I'll pay the extra money to have the confidence going into it.
Yeah. And so the guy, our house guy that I was talking to, Nacho, was his name.
Nacho
Libre.
Dude, Nacho Rosso.
Nacho Rosso?
I think is his name.
I think he's following us on Instagram.
Yeah, but it was like Nacho Rosso.
Nacho Rosso.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Freaking great dude. Very, very funny dude. Obviously, he's just working there. He doesn't own the ranch. He doesn't make the rules. But when I told him, he was, like I said, they weren't dicks about it. They were very receptive. So long story short, my dad shot that gun. Shot at the buffalo, missed 4 times.
Really?
Didn't even get close.
From how far?
He was taking some pokes. I mean, it was probably 200 yards,
Okay.
Which is a long shot, for the old man. But the scopes were garbage. They were terrible.
What kind of a scope was on it? Was it a Vortex?
Dude,
might as well been.
I hate to say it, but a Vortex would have been an upgrade, for Christ's sake. I mean, it was some old
an old Bushnell or
80s.
Nikon
Yeah, it was where the duplex crosshairs are as thick as your forearms, and then they come, and then it's hairline, little tiny.
Oh,
and
boy.
The glass was terrible. You couldn't see crap. There was a fixed 6 power. I'm not sure.
6 power?
Fixed 6 power.
And your dad's shooting 200 yards?
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll talk about that in a minute. And the other guy had another rifle. It was my guide or the other guide? Anyways, he had a 300 Win Mag. And after ripping half a box of rounds, he's just like, hey, why don't you try this one? And so he hands him the 300 and pulls up on it, just freaking hammers it, right?
Yeah.
And you can hear the impact. And I'm trying to film. By the way, I'm there with a camera, trying to be the best Doug I can be. And I tell my dad, I'm like, okay, Dad, we're gonna get set up, and I'm gonna get zoomed in, and then I want you to give me the go ahead, and then I'll tell you when I'm on it, and then you shoot. And I'm telling him all this, and he's kind of not paying attention to me, right? Because It's my dad, right?
Because it's your dad. He's 72 years old, and he's like,
so,
I don't really care about your camera.
And I'm trying to move the camera around, and then I set, and this, because we move like 4 or 5 times, right? And I'm trying to set the camera up, and and it's this big ass tripod. You're moving it around, and you got to set it up, and you zoom in, and I'm moving the thing. Every time I move it, it's making a squeak, so it's full of dust. The bowl top is, and I'm like, God damn it, Kris, come on, get your shit together. And so the last time I get set up, I said, okay, Dad, let me get set up before you, boom, and the gun goes off. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not getting that on film. And boom, he shoots again. Boom, he shoots again. And then I'm like, pull my binos out, and I'm like, high left, low right, still missing.
Still missing.
And the buffalo doesn't care.
Really?
Like, because it's like, it must have been like their rut or something, because this bull was jacked up. He's chasing other bulls around. Like, my dad I think he shot at him 4 times. The bull runs around, comes around, it's a big herd. It's like 30, 35 buffalo. And comes, and there was another big bull, and he comes in, and dude, full tilt, and just boom, freaking
really?
boss to boss, dude. Yeah, it was wild.
That's cool.
And I was like, obviously you didn't hit him. You know, like, he's fine. And so that's when that other guy brought the 300 in, and he freaking, dude, got on the sticks and just freaking hammered. And he hammered him twice, like both good shots,
Yeah.
and freaking dump him. And here I am standing there with no footage, I'm sure Doug will go through it, and he's going to be very impressed. It's not good, Doug. It's not good. I think I had the sound off, too. I was just hire a cameraman, guys. Don't hire me.
Here we go.
Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. But it was exciting, like he shot. I mean, it was a really cool buffalo, too. Because it was like, so it's not like Australian buffalo where it's super wide. Like, his came real high and tight,
Yeah, his looked like it was an old buffalo.
Yeah, dude, it was super old.
Yeah.
You should have seen the balls in this thing. Good Lord.
Just
big.
a giant nutsack.
Dude, giant nutsack, dude.
Is he going to make a purse out of them or what?
Dude, he didn't even do it. I was like,
What?
Dad, yeah, we
Make
should
a satchel?
Yeah, we should make a satchel out of that,
Yeah.
a little Jana Waller action. Wasn't having it. So I'm like, I'm there. I brought 3 buck knives with me, and I'm like, I'm gonna put these sons of guns to work, and the guy's like, oh no, and I'm like, what? I was gonna I'm gonna help my dad, and no, and then here comes this truck, and then there's another truck behind him, and the other truck behind him has like 4 dudes in the back of the truck. And one dude, it looks like he works in a butcher shop. He's got the white thing on, and the white rubber boots, and he's got like the little schmuck thing with the knives tucked in there, but like kitchen knives, I'm like, what is this guy doing, And then this other dude gets out, this classic like straight up gaucho dude, looked like a South American gaucho. Like, if you picture a gaucho, like an old weathered South American forearm tattooed man, and they got I don't know I can't remember what the hats are called, but like the flat kind of like painters kind of looking hats or whatever they, like the fancy like artistic painters, like French type deal.
Yeah, he's got a palette full of things, and he's just like,
so he's got one of those big ass things on.
Yeah,
and he comes up and he's got like 2 kitchen knives, a smaller one and a bigger one, and I'm like, you could tell. I was like, this he's killed people. This guy's a badass, Zero English.
Yeah.
And he just gets in there, and all 4 of these guys, they just start getting to work, dude. And I mean, when I say get to work, like, they skin this entire buffalo in like 15 minutes.
Really?
2,500-pound buffalo on the ground.
That's impressive.
On the ground, dude. It took 4 guys to roll it over. I mean, the thing's huge, right?
Yeah.
So he's getting after it, and I'm standing there with these brand new knives, and he's got his like, the big like plastic handled kitchen knives,
Oh yeah.
He's sharpening one knife on the back of the other knife.
What?
Yeah, he's like, quick, and then he takes the other one, quick, and then he'd go back to work. And I'm asking, what is he doing? He's like, oh yeah, he's like this. He's our main skinner,
Yeah.
And the guy's got to be late 60s.
Okay.
And he's just bent over, just getting after it. And I'm like, I got these brand new knives, And so I had that Magna Cut.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, do you want to try this? And he doesn't know what I'm saying, like zero English. And so I'm just like, I look at my guy, and I'm like, hey, And then by that time, Nacho was there. Nacho was very fluent in both languages, so he's just like, I was like, hey, can you ask him if he wants to use my knife? And so he uses it, and he looks up, and you see this big smile on his face,
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, that's a nice knife. He really likes that knife. And so he just gives it back to me, right? And I'm just like, oh, like thinking to I don't really know how to act in this situation because I don't want to be a dick and just be like, hey, your knives suck.
Yeah.
Here, take this knife. But I'm going to shoot a buffalo too. I mean, we're on how many main skinners you can have on a ranch, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, they get that all disarticulated. We head back to camp. We have an incredible dinner, drink a bunch of wine, go out the next day, and then it's my turn. We're hunting buffalo, and we can't find one. Like that, cause I was like, I didn't want one that curled in. I wanted one that kind of flared out, almost like a Cape buffalo.
You wanted a wide one.
Yeah, and so no dice the next day. The next day we go out and we find one that's like that fits the bill, right? Mm-hmm. We're sneaking up on it. Perfect setup, dude. It's down in a wallow. It's hotter and hot outside. We're behind it. It's kind of quartering away. I get the gun set up, and then my dad's back on the camera. Now.
Oh boy.
Now.
That's an oh boy situation.
My 72-year-old father is trying to do his best.
Okay.
But his best is like me, playing the fiddle at the Grand Ole Opry. It's not looking good, right? So
Okay.
I look over and my guide is like, okay, shoot. I'm like, and I'm looking at my dad. I'm not even looking at the gun. And the camera, I shit you not, is sitting like this, like at a 45. And I'm just like, so I'm like, I look at the guy, hold this gun. And I like stomp back to my dad. And I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? And he's like, what? And the camera's like, what? Like it just got in a car wreck. And so I try to straighten the camera up, and it makes a bunch of noise because, again, there's dust in the freaking bowl top.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cockeyed, and it's like zoomed way in. And I'm like, Dad, it's not even on the buffalo,
It's just pointing at the feet or something.
I can't see shit because it's bright outside. I don't got my glasses in. I'm fueling around for my readers, and I'm pissed because I can't find my readers. I can't see the damn screen. The PH is holding my rifle against a tree. He's furious at me, cussing under his breath in Spanish at this freaking gringo. And I'm like, I can't. I go, I didn't get yours on film. We have to get this on film. That's why we're here. And he's just looking at me like, son, I'm trying to do my best. And he is, and I'm getting irritated because I'm mad at him because he's never ran a camera in his entire life, and I'm mad at him about it, And I look over, and the buffalo's just looking back at me like,
what is going on?
Is this guy doing? And he looks at me, and I look at the buffalo, and I'm like, ah, shit. And he just gets up and blows out. And the look of disgust on the guide's face was priceless. He looked at me like, you piece of shit. Like, I got one job to get you a buffalo. That was a great buffalo, and it was a great buffalo. Yeah. So now I'm just like,
my mouth hurts.
And I'm visibly upset. The guide is visibly upset. I look back at Franco, my dad's guide, this tiny little Franco. Like, he had a light little voice.
Yeah.
Very sweet man, big giant like French hat thing, right? Yeah. And he's just like, me camera? I'm like, you can run the camera? Yes. I'm like, yes, please.
Yes, please.
See. Gracias.
Please.
And so come to find out, he's like a freaking incredible cameraman. And then he starts showing me all these pictures he's been taking of me on his cell phone, and they're like,
really good.
Oh, dude, they're incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm like, son of a bitch, dude, where were you 2 days ago?
Yeah, why are you watching all this play out and just sitting there?
Yeah, because he doesn't speak English, and I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So fast forward, he's running the camera now. Now my dad can just sit there and have fun, and he doesn't have to, deal with me yelling at him for no reason. And so we're like, hey, there's a bunch of buffalo in this dry lake bed, right? Super cool. So we put this sneak on. We get to the creek bed up to the river, or up to the lake bed, and we're like peeking over, and my guide's looking at me like, you like? And I look, and I'm like, no.
No, I don't like.
I'm 100% a professional hunter now because I've seen the buffalo for 5 minutes. And
you know what you want.
I know what I want. I'm like, no, it's not big enough. And so we're looking around, and there's like 20 something buffalo, and we're looking, and I'm like, God, I don't see, I'm not seeing. And I'm pissed because that other buffalo, he was kind of young, but like it had a nice shape to him. And next thing you know, my PH is like, and hit me on the shoulder. I'm like, what? And he points up. in the complete other direction up by the lodge, and it's a big, long, sloping hill, and this freaking giant buffalo by himself is running across the hill at like 700-800 yards. And I'm like, oh, shit. And he's like, big buffalo. And I'm like, all right. And he starts running, and I'm like, shit, I guess we're running. So I got the rifle.
Yeah.
I'm running behind him. My dad's trying to run behind me. Franco's trying to run behind with the camera. And we get up to a couple spots, and we're in the bottom of this dry lake bed, so it's like dried mud, right? But then there's like a steep like edge, So you got to like climb up and then over, and then you can kind of see where that buffalo is. So he's like going up and looking over. Because I mean, they're not like Cape buffalo, but they're still dangerous. They'll kill the shit out of you, right? Mm-hmm. So kind of look and come down and go around and look and come down, and then we get up to kind of this like little peninsula, and we climb up on the top of it, and then he's like, set up right here, and when the buffalo comes around, you shoot him. I'm like, okay, it seemed like kind of a far shot, but all right. So I got that 375 with a fixed scope, right? Mm-hmm. So Nacho, the house guy, let me go out and shoot it at 50 yards, but it was a little far right, so I adjusted it, and he let me shoot it twice, so it was very nice. Thank you, Nacho. Not that you're going to listen to this, but
maybe he will.
So this buffalo's coming, and I pull out the old Leupold BX4 HD guides, Gen 1s, not the Gen 2s. Hit the button, bang, about 220 yards. I'm like, okay, I can shoot 220 yards with this thing. I'm shooting off some rickety-ass sticks. It's totally fine. Get on there.
Rickety-ass sticks.
Buffalo's coming. And the guy's like, no stopping. I'm like, and I got a window of like 25 yards maybe. And I'm like, fuck, he's not stopping. And all of a sudden panic mode kicks in. Oh, shit. And he's had a pretty good, I mean, he's not like running, but he's moving, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, in self-talk, right? Okay, here we go, Kris. Get your shit together. And I get on him, and I start breathing out, and I start getting on him, and I'm moving with him, and I'm like, about right, boom, and I touch off, and the gun, lurches up, and you hear that. I mean, you hear it, dude. Mm-hmm. A 275 grain bullet just hammered this buffalo, and he freaking takes off straight away from us, and I'm like, oh shit, and the guy's like, oh, good hit, and I'm like, I hit it in the buffalo, I heard it where it hit,
yeah,
and then he comes straight away, and he starts to go right, and then he takes a quick U-turn, and he turns back to like mule deer look at us, right?
Whether back to you?
Yeah, so like he's coming from my right to my left, and that's when I shoot him. He runs straight away, and then he goes back to my right, so I'm seeing the other side of him. Mm-hmm. But then he makes just does a quick U-turn, right, and comes back and like gives us that classic like mule deer like perfectly broadside, but his head's looking at me.
Yeah, and
he's like 300 and something yards. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna send it, dude.
Yeah,
and I don't even tell the guy. I'm literally like, boom, like that fast, and you hear the bullet wham and smack him, and he took like 3 steps and fell over.
Nice.
Yeah, deader than shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was, but then so. We shoot, we're all excited, right? Like, okay, like, let's go get him. And we start walking out and this stuff, and it's like classic hunting, no matter where you're at. You start walking this stuff, and it gets taller and taller and taller, and it's this, like, thick brush, and a freaking million mosquitoes come out of nowhere. Dude, I'm talking, I lost, like, 5 pounds in a 350-yard walk, dude. I mean, I'm just covered in, like, hundreds of mosquitoes.
Because they're all in the
in
tall
this bushes, right? Yeah. And it's kind of like South Africa where everything has thorns. It's all pokey. My dad has shit all stuck in his legs,
You probably got like malaria or something.
Oh, dude, I'm sure I'm going to die soon, yeah. So,
AIDS. You have AIDS.
And these things are huge, right? But we get out there, and it's, like I said, like anything else, you get out there, where's the buffalo?
Yeah.
It should be right here, and finally we get and see, but the brush was like perfectly covering it. Mm-hmm. And we get up on this thing, and it was freaking massive. Same thing, the guys come out, the skinners come out, and Nacho comes out. I mean, the lodge was like half a mile away, I could see it. And so everyone comes out, and they're all excited, and we're high-fiving and trying to get content, video, and shit like that, and pictures. And I asked Nacho, I'm like, hey, I wrote the guy's name down. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But I was like, hey, will you give him it's brand new. The only person who'd use it was him.
Yeah.
That buck knife, that MagnaCut.
Yeah.
And that guy's face, he was a late 60-year-old man. He was so excited, and like you could just see like he was so thankful to get this dude. The knife he was using like a $4 kitchen knife, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad.
I mean, that buck knife is like it's one of their most expensive knives.
Dude, it's super nice.
It's like almost $300.
I never even used it.
Or maybe it is $300.
Yeah, and I just freaking gave this guy, but his face, he was so thankful, and I was just like,
oh, you could see it in the picture. Maybe Doug can plug it into this podcast.
Definitely worth.
He's just like sitting there
words.
like, ah.
Yeah,
dude, it was awesome, and the guy was so nice. Obviously,
words can't describe the look on his face.
Yeah, look on his face, and it was awesome, and especially on a man who's been around. And it's like, dude, that guy's seen some stuff.
He's cut a lot of animals up.
Oh, dude, thousands.
He'll probably wear that blade into the ground.
Right?
Yeah, it'll probably be like this big at the end. Mm-hmm. It'll be like his little kitchen knife thing.
Dude.
He'll pull it out and sharpen it on the back of another knife.
Dude, it was freaking rad.
That's awesome.
So that was our buffalo, and then we went out and hunted black buck and axis deer. Or no, not axis deer, sorry, fallow deer.
Yeah, your dad got a nice fallow, didn't he?
Dude, he shot a dandy fallow deer, and he shot a nice black buck as well. He shot like a 20-inch black buck. It was freaking nice.
Did he not? He hasn't shot a black buck before?
No, he did in I'm pretty sure he did in Texas on Ben's Ranch.
Oh, okay.
But it was included in the package that we had bought from Sportsman's Alliance,
Oh, okay.
At our fundraiser.
Yeah.
So then back to the story of me finding self-restraint somehow for the first time in my entire life. They have the classic, right? It's like you shoot a red stag from like 300 to 320, 320 to 340, that type of thing. And if the guide said it was 300, but it was over 300 and you shot it, you had to pay, right?
Okay.
And I was like, well, I don't think you should put that on me. I'm not the professional guide, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, I can negotiate that away. I'm Kris Cantrell, right?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, we don't make the rules. We don't have any negotiating power. And so I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. So that's when I was like, well, I'm not going to stay here another day. Number one, because I didn't trust myself, right?
Right.
And I didn't want to spend, like, the bump up was a lot of money, right? So I was like, well, I'd like to shoot a stag, but I'm going to go to Texas in freaking a week, right?
Yeah.
And go shoot axis deer, so I should probably not spend any more money. So, yeah, I asked the guy, Nacho, our house guy, and I was like, hey, would it be okay? Do you think you could get me back a day early and get me another day in the hotel? Because I'm not kidding, Buenos Aires was incredible. Like, I could stay in that city for months. Like,
really?
It was, and I am not a city guy at all. Dude, it was amazing. Like, so we went back a day early, got some good rest, ate a ton of good food, walked around the city. I drank 1,000 cappuccinos. Dude, their cappuccinos there are freaking bomb, dude.
Yeah.
So the coffee is incredible. We went through the Recoleta Cemetery. I'm probably butchering that. But it's like, I think it's 5 hectares, and it's a giant, like, brick wall cemetery. And it's all mausoleums, and like, so all their presidents are buried in there. All the famous people in like Argentina are buried in this thing, and they have like mausoleums from like the 1860s in there. Dude, it was freaking wild. I think it was, I don't want to butcher it, but it was like 1830 something, I think, when it was made.
Wow.
Or something. Dude, it was, yeah, and it was wild because you see these things. It's like, this thing's 200 years old. Mm-hmm. And it's like the stone is perfect, and it was how did you carve this back 200 years ago?
Yeah,
and it's just everything was massive
craftsmanship back in the day.
It was amazing. So
it's not like it is anymore. I can tell you that.
No.
Yeah, I went
definitely not.
No,
I went full on old guy. I was just like, I was loving it, and it was super fun. Me and my dad, bumming around, and then flights back, same thing. I did get him first class from Argentina to Atlanta. And so we had like the big fancy seats, right? Not the pods, not the lay down pods, but like the big fancy seats. And so the lady comes around and she's like laying napkins over our laps. And like, she's like, oh, would you like anything to drink? And my dad sat next to me. I'm like, yeah, what would you like to drink, Dad? He's like, I'd like some white wine, maybe. And I'm like, Dad, you're first class. You don't drink white wine. What are you doing? You're embarrassing me, Dad. But it was so much fun, dude. We
That's
had
awesome.
like fancy dinners. The lady was so funny. She looked at me and she's like, she brought me some food and she's like, do you want, she brought me, I was supposed to get chicken and she brought me like pasta or something. She goes, I'm so sorry, we're out of chicken. Do you want me to go back to economy and take someone's chicken for you? And I'm like,
What?
oh my God, is this first class? I
She
could
did not just say
I
that.
swear to God, hand to God, she said she would go back to economy and take someone's chicken.
Take it right off their plate.
Dude, like a freaking gangster, dude. And I'm like, oh my
Give me that chicken.
I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that. And I was like, oh my God, I thought it was a test.
Yeah.
You know, like I would
You should have
instantly
said yes to see if it actually happened.
catch on fire or something.
fucking
And
wild.
I was like, no, I'll just eat I didn't want pasta, but okay, I'm trying to watch my macros, but that's all right.
Yeah.
So I'm eating the pasta and it wasn't bad,
Yeah.
I just wanted some meat,
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there eating the pasta and I'm just rolling through my mind. I'm like, I can't believe she just said that. Like, does everyone in first class get this service? She's like, steal some kid's chicken from him. And like 5 minutes later, she comes back, like from the pods though. Like, so in front of us are like the lay down pods.
Yeah.
And she comes back with this big ass dish of chicken. And
Really?
she's like, I got this for you, honey. And I'm like,
What?
I can have
you.
I can have 2 dinners.
Yeah.
And she's like, do you still want that pasta? I was like, I'm gonna eat that pasta.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm eating
yeah.
I'm eating all this shit. I just dump it on top like a freaking heathen. Here's your bowl back.
Yep.
Dude, it was awesome. I was like, man,
Living the good life.
dude, it was so well, I don't fly first class very often, so
Living
it was-
the dream.
Yeah, it felt pretty cool, and I was like, oh man, geez, I wonder if first class people really steal the chicken from economy.
Dude, I've only flown for first class one time, and that was when you bought me first class when we went to Bozeman to do Randy Newberry's podcast.
Yeah.
You're like, it was after a rough patch, and you bought first class. You're like, I'm gonna treat you to first class.
Rough patch.
Dude, he needed it. It was
It was right after my dad died.
Oh, yeah.
It was like
Yeah.
It was right after that.
it was like
It was
less
literally
than
right
2
after
weeks.
that.
Yeah.
It was like a week after.
And I was like, dude, I got him the best hotel in Bozeman, first class tickets.
Chris
I don't know.
he wined and dined me.
I
Yeah,
did.
you wined and dined you.
I did. I'm a family man, dude.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, it was good.
It's
That was
the only
good.
time
That was
I
good.
ever
That was
trip.
a-
first class.
Yeah, that's a wild story.
Yeah, dude, it was an awesome trip. Shooting a buffalo in Argentina was like,
So what are you gonna do with it? You gonna shoulder mount it? You gonna do a 3/4 body? Did
Life size.
Life size.
He's life sizing it. What are you
So-
talking about?
he's got a grin on his face? I'm wondering. Oh God.
Yeah,
here we
right?
go.
so I had,
He's got this glorious idea. You're gonna make another couch right next to the hippo.
so the guy,
He's gonna put a saddle on it.
I gave the knife to, right? So I tell him how to skin it out, and I'm like, hey, this is how I want. I go down the back, and I go, and like, so they stop it like right, like a normal like shoulder mount, like right here, and I'm like, no. I go back here, like right in front of the back hips,
Yeah.
and he's like, that much, and I'm like, yeah, this much, and I was like, and skin the front legs out with the hooves, and I'm looking at Nacho, and I'm like, como se dice hooves? I don't know how to say this shit,
Yeah.
and he's just like, and so he,
Translate for me. I
Yeah,
paid you for this.
so he comes over and he's telling him, and the guy looks at me, he's like, huh? Okay,
Okay.
So because they got big ass, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
giant buffalo, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm sending dude. It's a lot of cape. It's a lot. I mean, so from nose to the top of the base of the tail was 9'6",
Holy moly.
and my dad's was bigger than mine.
Really?
Yeah, like his was 10 foot easy. So mine was
Really?
9'6". Yeah, and I told Brandon, I was like, hey, I don't know if you can find a forum for this, but let's do something cool.
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay. So-
Okay.
So
that's the exact response you give her. Okay, whatever.
yeah, he's like,
You got the dollar bills. I'll
Yeah.
make it happen.
whatever you want, man. So
It's just money.
yeah.
So did it stay there and they're gonna like tan it and then ship it back, or are they
So,
gonna ship it back frozen?
The guy said it takes like 6 months. So they salt the hides,
Okay.
and then I think they just send them back salted. But like I guess the paperwork and all the nonsense takes like 6 months.
Okay.
So in 6 months he'll get a salted hide and send it off to tannery is what I'm
And then
guessing.
the horns too come back. then?
yeah, yeah. So they bleach the skulls, or not bleach the skulls. They boil the skulls.
Okay.
So I got a sweet picture of mine, my dad's, his. Oh, he shot a ram. My dad shot a Patagonia ram too. That just looked like a sheep, but
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
This looks like the stuff in Hawaii.
Dude, like it was just a sheep.
saw a bunch of those.
But a really nice fallow deer and then a real nice black buck too. So all the skulls were lined up. We got a picture before we left.
Cool.
And
I don't have that content.
It was a freaking great trip. But tell me about Texas.
Hawaii?
Or Hawaii, sorry.
Hawaii? You went to Texas.
I went to Texas.
Say we need to break this up, and James needs to tell a little bit.
I'll tell you about
his,
Hawaii, and then we'll come back to Texas.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a long podcast, folks. You better
Buckle up.
I'm just drinking beer and enjoying.
I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys
great.
right now. You're gonna have to buckle up for this one. Okay. So let's
set the stage, Jim.
Set the stage here. So this is a family vacation, right? And
we are laughing.
I was already laughing my ass off when he told me, "Oh, but go down there and we're gonna shoot some stinky goats." I'm like, "You're going there to drink Mai Tais and sit on the beach?" And
I did plenty. I did plenty of that too, but there was a couple days where I snuck off to go do some hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd been there. This is on the Big Island. I'd been there a couple times, and both times that I went prior, I remember seeing all these big billy goats and different goats running around the island. I hadn't seen any sheep or anything yet. And I just thought, man, it'd be cool if you could hunt these things because they're everywhere.
Right.
And then so I started looking into it. I'm like, oh, you can hunt them. Like, there's not really a lot of regulation on it either. It's year round. And
right.
And some units are bow only, and some units are like you can use bow or rifle depending on where they're at on the island, right?
Okay.
Because safety,
right?
And so I started looking into it. I found a bunch of different public land to hunt, and I was like, okay, so I got this plan, right? So I'm like, wait,
they got a bunch of public land in Hawaii?
Yeah, a lot of, at least on the Big Island they do.
Really?
I don't know about the other islands, but
I've never been to Hawaii.
A lot of public land. So it's all like new to me, right? So I'm like, I don't know. Like I see goats everywhere, but I don't know like if they're on the public land, like is it easy to find them on the public land?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Are they like people's goats, or are they just like
just
wild goats?
Long story short, they back in the old days, like in the 1700s or 1800s, I can't remember.
Right.
They brought all these different animals to all the islands, and let them. I guess they let them go, but they were like help sustain like the populations there because they're islands. They don't really have much food on the islands,
like
right?
so the pirates could swing by and like
kind of
grab a goat.
I guess I don't know.
Grab a goat.
It started out they had Spanish goats. They had two different kinds of goats that from what I gathered and from what I saw. The Spanish goats, which are like more of like a little bit more traditional looking goat, but they got these big long beards on them. The billies do at least. And then their horns kind of just like swoop back and then out. And then they have one that's like some sort of a Hawaiian ibex or whatever they call it. It's like nicknamed the Hawaiian ibex.
Okay.
And their horns kind of swoop back and then down a little bit more.
Like an ibex.
Kind of like an ibex, you know.
All right. I'm picking
and
up.
then those ones have more of like a mane on their neck and stuff. Like they kind of like have a mane that grows out.
Okay.
The one that I shot, which we'll get to, had like a beard like that long. And it was like, it was thick and long, dude. It was gnarly looking. Yeah, dude. It was crazy looking.
Dude, that's awesome.
And so the first morning, I'm just like, I'm waiting for my moment, right? Because we're on family vacation. So I'm not trying to push the envelope with the missus too much.
So I've been here 5 minutes, hun.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take
so
off
it's
now.
like we did the one day, and then I think we did another day, and we went to the ocean. And then like the third day, I'm like, hey, I think tomorrow morning I'm going to go out and do some goat hunting. She's like, oh, okay. I flew with my bow there.
Yeah.
And I brought like minimal amount of hunting gear for hunting, and like brought my binoculars, my range finding binos and everything. And I go out and I'm like, okay, I picked out this spot on public land that I thought, okay, this looks good. Found it was open. I was like, okay, I can go here. So I park and I start walking in, and beautiful sunrise. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. It's like, it's fucked up because there's just like lava beds, but it's like loose lava rocks. They're like boulders. They're like this big, and they're everywhere. And that's what you're walking across. So it's just like, bloop, 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 bloop. And it's like tough on your feet because it's like jagged lava rock everywhere.
Right.
You're trying to be quiet. And I'm like, man, this sucks. And I think I'm like 30 minutes in, and I run into my first group of goats. And I'm like, oh, there's goats. Oh,
right.
This is like excited, but little do I know that they're freaking everywhere, right?
Right.
It was just the first ones you seen.
These are the first ones, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm all excited. I'm like, oh, I don't even know. Like, that's like 70 or 80 yards. And I haven't shot my bow much at all in the last 2 years.
Right.
So, like, I shot a little bit. I was like, it's still on, But I wanted to be ideally within 20 to 30 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to make sure I'm going to smoke this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this goat, and I'm like, it's just a nanny, And I'm like, another nanny. And then I see, like, these big billies off on the side. I'm like, there's a big billy over there. Like, so I start trying to sneak, but it's like lava rock, and it's shifting, and it's loud. And I get within like 20 yards of these nannies, and I'm like, I bet you'll just run off,
Right.
They're gonna see me because
Yeah.
I'm in the open. I'm like, they're just gonna run off. And I was thinking to myself in my head, like, I wonder if they have like an alert, like white-tailed deer, or like deer do, like
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
And so I keep going, and all of a sudden I hear this. Doug, you heard the sound. It almost sounds like a fart. It's like that. Yeah. They make this weird sound. Yeah. And then that's their alert. And then they're just like all like, and they all just like start taking off everywhere. I'm like, damn it. I guess they do have an alert.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, well, that's blown. The first stalk was blown. And during that
they're
stalk,
goats. They make some weird noises.
Oh yeah, they make all kinds of they make all kinds of weird noises.
They're not goats from Quebec, are they?
Yeah, they kind of are. And
Letterkenny joke there,
when
folks.
that happened, I saw one of the coolest looking goats right as all those started blowing out. Jeez, you guys.
Sorry. Pump the brakes, Doug.
Jeez.
Be professional here.
Come on, pull it together. All right. You guys got it out of your system now? Okay. Good.
Sorry,
I
Dave.
had to. You brought it in, Chris. I had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I see this one goat run off. It looks like it's more of like the ibex style,
Okay.
and it's like it's two-tone. It's like black and gray. It has this big mane on its chest, and it starts walking across. And he blew out when he heard the meow. Like they all take off.
Right. But if you had a rifle, you could have smoked
dude,
them?
there's 80 yards.
Oh.
And I'm watching. I'm like, oh man. I'm like, that's the one I want.
Yeah,
That's a beautiful, like, nice looking goat.
It's torture. You're standing there with a bow in your hand, like,
Dude.
oh, man.
Listen, if you're a bow hunter, like a true bow hunter, and you really love bow hunting, good on you.
Good for you.
I am not one of those people.
I would really love a rifle.
I want a rifle in my hand all the time. Like
Yeah. There's a reason why our ancestors went to rifles and not fun with the bows.
I don't mind bow hunting. I just we'll get more to that as we go here. So that one takes off, and then they're all gone, right? And then I walk up, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get back on them. And so I creep up over the top of this little ridge, and it's this giant, wide open lava field that's just like boulders the size of this table, like everywhere. And I'm like, F that. I'm not going through that. And I see them all on the other side, and I'm like, I'll just go find another herd somewhere. So I start moving again. It's not like more than 10 minutes, and I run into another group, and there's like this big white, like tannish colored goat, and it's a big billy, and I'm like, oh, there's one there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to stock up on that one. And then, of course, I don't see these nannies off to the right, and then they all take off again. I'm like, damn it. And I'm like, man, and then I start thinking to myself, man, this is going to be a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be with a bow.
Right.
Like with a rifle, no problem. But with a bow, it's like, oh, man, if you get within 20 or 30 yards, they have great eyesight. Like, excellent eyesight.
Well, it sounds like the topography is garbage to stalk in.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's these bushes everywhere, these big tree bushes, so you can kind of like try to get those in between your line of sight.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like when they're spread out, they're in groups.
You're literally hopping rocks. So
You're
you're not able to really move
You
slowly.
can't stalk very well. It's very loud. This is the area I was in. There's many different kinds of topography to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
You can get into grasslands. You can get into like lava beds that are like more of the smooth, hardened lava. But where I was at was like boulder fields. And so I'm creeping up, and this is like my third stalk, and blow it again. And now I'm getting a little frustrated because it's starting to get a little warm. And I'm like, I'm already sneaking away from the family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, it's like stupid goats. Like,
Right.
and so then I think I like creep up to the top, and I see this group of goats, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll just shoot like the next decent, like mature goat. Like it doesn't have to be a giant billy.
Right.
And there's this group, Doug, I showed you the video. This group like walks off, and I'm trying to self-film everything, right?
It's just terribly hard.
It sucks. And I'm like, and I have a bow, and I have to range it, and I have to do all these other things. So it's like, I get on this group, and I'm like, okay. And I go and I set down the camera. I get the camera set up. I get it on them, and then I hit it with the range. I'm like, okay, we're like, I think it was like 35 yards or something. I'm like, okay, and I go to pull back, and then the cam on my bow is touching these giant lava rocks. And I'm like, damn it. And I get to full draw, and they blow out a little bit and go a little bit further, and I'm like, I don't know. It's like 35 yards, I guess. I don't know. And I just let it rip. Dude, just hit the rocks right in front. The arrow goes off. And I'm like, crap. And
you need to be aiming at 40.
Yeah. I'm like, I forgot. Didn't take into account they ran another 5-6 yards.
Yeah. Right.
And so I'm like,
which means a lot in archery.
Yeah, it does mean a lot. And so I'm like, dang it. And the targets aren't really big. Like their cavity is like that, it's like not huge.
Right.
And so then I'm down an arrow. So I started out with a half a dozen arrows. That's all I brought, which was not enough.
Not enough.
As I find out, which
if you're James Forsland, that's not enough.
We'll get to that later. And so now I'm down an arrow. Now I'm down to 5, right? And so I start going, and I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll find another group.
Right.
So I start creeping up, and I get up, and I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I'm getting it's almost like I'm getting manic because I'm seeing too many animals. And I'm just like, where am I going to go? Oh, I'm going over here.
Too many choices. Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, you just need to start hunting the way you hunt and slow down and just like creep. And then eventually you'll come into like something that you can shoot.
Right.
And so that's what I started doing. I slow way down, and I'm just like kind of using the shadows and trying to move through stuff slowly. And I hear this little branch break off to my right, and there's this like little drop off. And I just stand there for a while listening and then watching. All of a sudden I see these horns coming through, and I'm like, ooh, it's only like 10 yards. And I'm like, okay. And then I see it like lift its head up. It's got this big beard on it, big swooping horns. I'm like, okay, that's a good billy.
Ooh,
that's a good billy. That's what I'm looking for. It's a big billy like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sitting there waiting. And he's about to come out from behind this tree, and I get to full draw, and he stops. And he sits there eating that tree forever. So I hold it for like almost probably close to 2 minutes. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm trying to hold. I'm trying to hold.
The shake.
Dude, and I'm just like, dude. And at this point, like, he's so close and so in my face, like, I can't let off.
Right.
Otherwise, he's just going to blow off. And they're a little bit, I mean, you can tell they get hunted because they're cagey. They're afraid of people. Big time. At least these ones were. And he comes out just a little bit in the clearing, and then he's quartering to me so hard, and I'm like, dude, he's so close. He's just a little goat. I'm like, I can get him. And I let it rip, and boom, smack him, and arrow goes completely through. I don't see where it exits or anything. And it runs a little bit, and then it stops and starts walking, and I'm like, it was pretty nasty. Like, it went in and came out. It went through, like, through the frontal, like
stem to stern.
Yo, dude, and came out the rear.
Right. Yeah.
I won't get too far into that, but
why not?
The people don't need to hear it.
Oh man!
So the goat goes a little bit, and then it stops and it beds down, and then these other 2 billies jump out, and then he goes and he's standing in these rocks, and I stalk up on it again, get the camera set up, and then put a perfect shot on him, double lung, boom. Like, he lasted maybe another 5 seconds, and he was done.
So when those other goats came out, how many goats can you shoot today?
It depends. So some parts of the island you can shoot two goats in one area, depending on where you're at.
Okay.
But most of it, I think, is just one goat.
I was going to say, I'd have been flinging arrows to those
goats,
dude.
I don't even know, like, I know for fact that it was one goat per day.
Quiver.
Yeah.
Well, I would have had a lot of work. I didn't want that much work in that heat, though.
Right.
So it's one a day in most parts of the island.
Okay.
So you can shoot one goat a day.
So you whack this Billy.
So I whack this big Billy, and then I get it taken care of, and I debone it all on the spot because I was like, I don't want to pack all this stuff back.
Probably with your Magna Cut that you still have because you didn't give it away.
Exactly. No, I used the pack light set.
Oh yeah,
you know the little ones. So I had the little one, which was perfect for caping.
Oh yeah.
So I caped it out and
right.
and took the skull and everything, and then the other one I used for more of the deboning stuff, and it worked out really good.
You're not gonna life size that?
No, dude, I left the cape up there. I thought I was gonna shoot another like prettier looking because this one was just pure black, but there was a lot of them that had like multiple colors and stuff. Dude. I know. I was like, Kris would. I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what, Kris would life size this goat.
100%. When we do the BCO trip to Hawaii, there will be some life sizing going on. If you guys have any sweet spots in Hawaii, drop us a line at Bear Country Outdoors.
Let us know.
We will have to get a warehouse to put all these life sizes because we're going to run out of room.
Because apparently, if you shoot one goat a day for the entire time you're there, Kris will shoot 10 goats.
I will. Did you get to eat any?
I haven't eaten any yet. I took the meat back with me. I froze it. I deboned it all, put it in bags, and then froze it and flew it back.
I'd like to taste it.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do a cookout, and we'll see. We'll see. We might be like, oh, this stuff tastes like shit.
I was gonna say, what did it smell like?
It smells a little wild. We'll just put it that way.
Like stinky goat balls.
I've never heard anything good about goat. Like anything.
I'm gonna do it in like just in the crock pot, slow cook it, and just see how it tastes.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll do a cookout.
Yeah, enough seasoning, you never know.
I got a bunch of meat, dude. I got some beaver meat. I got bobcat. I got raccoon and
all throw
goat.
it in, Jim.
So we're gonna do like
do like a giant pot of all the shit.
You don't know what you're gonna get.
Dude, yeah, I like that.
So we're gonna do a bunch of different cooking.
Call it mystery stew.
So mystery stew.
That's.
So that was my goat hunt that first morning. So then I was doing a lot more research while I was there, and I'm like, they got other species of animals there. And I'm like, they have wild sheep, like feral sheep.
Mm-hmm.
They have something called a Hawaiian wild sheep, which is like a black, big, like full curl looking kind of sheep. And then they have another thing called a mouflon. Now, mouflon is like the bighorn sheep of Hawaii. They're like a two-tone color. They're like a brown and white kind of color with a little bit of black maybe mixed in. And
I'm gonna Google it while you're talking because I want to see what it. Maybe we got to go next week.
I have a picture. I'll show you. And
we're going to Montana next week, Kris.
Okay, the following week.
And you're going to Cabo.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, you're going to Mexico. What are you talking about? We're world travelers.
Dude, it knows what we're talking about. It literally
we don't live normal lives anymore.
Mouflon sheep wife. Look at that, dude.
Yeah,
those are huge.
Yeah, so that one that I missed with my bow looked like that.
Look at that size of it.
So, anyways, so I do a little research and I'm like, okay, where am I going to find these things? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to tell people that's like the one that I did.
Bro.
And so I do a little research and I start looking on Onyx and I'm digging through. I'm like, okay.
Kris is like so interested.
I know. He's like, oh, we're going.
They got those.
That one right there. That one. That's exactly the same coloration. And so I go up to the spot and I got it picked out. I obviously wait another day or so before I tell the old lady, hey, I'm going to go out and do another day.
See ya.
And
I'm tired of drinking Mai Tais and on the beach.
So as we're driving around the island doing different stuff, I'm constantly...
You're scouting.
Of course, yeah, you're scouting.
Looking 100%. Out the window.
Looking for animals.
Oh, dude, I'm like, okay. And I'm like, that looks like some wild sheep up there. I'm like, okay.
You got your Onyx open.
Oh,
you're
dude.
Just dropping pins,
100%. Tiffany's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Just like...
Mark my location.
I'm like, pinning it really quick. I'm like, hey, drop a pin right here. Why? I'm like, just drop a pin. And so I have like a couple spots, like starting points, right? Mm-hmm. And so I find another spot, it's public land, and I don't know what to expect really. And as I'm driving into this spot, I see this herd of sheep off of the road, like up on the hill, and I'm like, oh, there's some sheep right there. I'm like, but those look like bass sheep, like mah sheep. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, those are on public. I'm like, those are feral sheep. I'm like, huh. I'm like, well, I could go shoot one of those things. I was like, well, let's see. Like,
Right.
and I saw there's a couple big rams in there too.
Right.
Like, full curl rams. And I'm like, yeah, we'll go. And so I'm like looking for a place to pull off, and so I find a nice little, it's like a public land looking thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pull in there, and there's like an old skidder, kind of like an old skidder road looking thing, but it's Hawaiian. It's like all volcanic rock, and it's all overgrown with grass and stuff. So I start hiking up the hill, hiking there, and I get into where I'm pretty close, and with these sheep, you can kind of hear them, like, every once in a while I hear, "Meow." So I'm like, it's kind of nice because you're like, okay, I'm getting close.
Now,
and
I just feel like you're in Hawaii. I feel like it's not, again, I've never been there, not that big. Lots of people. How many hunters are you running into?
None.
You never
Zero.
saw? What?
Never saw another hunter.
Dude.
That was the craziest thing to me, is that, like, I saw a couple guys off of the highway that were hunting.
Right.
Just their rigs.
Just random.
Like parked.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm just like, those guys have to be hunting.
Yeah.
But never saw anyone.
Really?
Yeah. So
Doug.
I'm just like, I'm shocked at this point. Like, I'm just like, there's animals all over the place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I start creeping on this herd of sheep. There's probably like, I'd say there's about 20 in this group.
Holy crap.
But it's kind of like, I get up to this flat, and on this flat, there's like this skidder road, and then there's like bushes, you know, and the bushes are about yay high.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't know how smart these things are either, like, or how good their eyesight is, or anything. So I'm like, I'm just the first stalk. I'm just gonna get close. I'm gonna look for ram. I get close, and I find, like, the first group I find is like mixed. It's like, okay, feral sheep, and I'm like, that's a mouflon. Like, that's a female mouflon.
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh, you know, like, oh, I actually found one. Like,
Yeah.
I was like shocked.
That's exciting.
And I'm like, but it's in the herd of sheep too.
Right.
So they're all together. And I'm like, wow, okay. And I'm like looking more, and I'm like, okay, I'm looking for a ram.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to shoot anything small.
Mm-hmm.
I want a full curl
Mm-hmm.
ram, and I'm looking, and there was a handful of them in there.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, and then, like, they're all like further off, and they must be like doing, like, maybe they just rut a little bit all the time, but they're chasing ewes around, or is it ewes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like sheep,
Mm-hmm.
chasing ewes around, like trying to like harass them, like kind of like a guy chasing his old lady around in the kitchen, slapping her butt. You know, that's what they're doing.
Little grab ass.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm like trying to, like, every time I'd find one, they'd be like moving and chasing, you know, and I'm like, man, bow hunting sucks. Like, I just want a rifle in my hand. Like, it's so hard.
Right.
Because they're just moving, and then you're trying to range, and then by the time you range, and they move again, and you're like, ah. And I have this one in the road that looks like a hybrid of some sort, like maybe part mouflon, part wild sheep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's working its way towards me, and I'm like, I'm just going to go after this one. And so I start going, and of course, I don't notice off to my left, there's a ewe standing there. She's just like, man. And then they all just, boom, just take off. And I'm just like, yeah, not like the goat. They're not like, they're just like, man. And then they just all take off. And I'm like, oh, my gosh. And so I'm like, okay, this is going to be a little bit more difficult than I thought with all the eyeballs.
Right.
And so I start another stalk, and they run out of sight. But then when I creep up again and I see, they all stopped and they started feeding again.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, they're not like a deer, you know.
Right.
And so I get into this ditch-looking thing where it's almost like a drainage ditch, and I start working my way through that towards them. And I'm like creeping down, and I'm hunched over the entire time because I'm trying to stay below the bushes. And I get within about 50 yards of the group again, and I'm like, oh, there's some nice rams in there. Like, oh, that's a full curls. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm creeping down, and I'm crouched down for so long, I get a huge cramp in my thigh. And I can't move. I'm just like, oh, my gosh, this hurts so bad. And I'm like, I can't stand up to stretch it out because all the sheep will see me and they'll blow out.
Yeah.
And so I just take it, and I'm just like trying to lay down and like stretch my leg out. I'm like, oh, who cares about these sheep right now? It hurts so bad. And I hear this, "Maa, maa," and it's up on the hill above me, which is like a mountain. And I look, and this ewe mouflon is running across the hill, and she sees all the sheep, and she's like trying to join the group. Well, there's like a fence in between us, and she's coming down, but she sees me the whole time. Mm-hmm. She's above me, and she can see me, and she's like trying to alert the herd of sheep down below me, and they're like looking up like, what is it, Martha?
It's a forest land.
Yeah,
run.
There's a guy with a cramp next to you. Run. And then she's just like, I'm like, gosh, you stupid sheep, shut up. Like, get out of here.
Right.
And so then they blow out again, but then some of them like kind of come around and like skirt around me. Well, then I hear another and then I just like, it was just like a little sound, but it was really close.
Right.
And I look off to my right, and like 10 yards away, I see this mouflon sheep, full giant ram, massive, like swooping horns all the way back and around.
Yeah.
And he's coming around the side of me. I'm like, holy shit, he's like 10 yards. And I like click on my GoPro. I'm like,
oh, you got the shoulder mount
GoPro
going?
Yeah, the shoulder mount.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's probably crap footage, but I'm trying to film it with like my phone and the GoPro, and so I like click it, and then he comes out around the corner, and he's like,
he pointed up at the sky.
oh, dude, 100%. It's probably, you heard a bow get shot though. And he comes around the corner of this bush, and it's like, boom, our eyes lock, but I'm already at full draw, and I'm just like, there's a fence like right there, but it's so close.
Are you standing in the ditch now?
No, I'm kneeling.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I'm at full draw, and I'm like hard quartering to me shot.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, I have like a 50-50 chance that it's going to go through the fence fine.
Oh, the fence is in between you and the sheep.
Yes.
Okay.
And then if I hit the fence, it's just going to go ba-ching,
right,
and be gone. Or it's going to go right through and just perfect shot.
10 ring, baby.
And I'm like, 50-50 sounds good to me. And I'm just like, boom. And of course it hits the fence. Ba-ching!
Oh no,
dude! The sheep runs off. He's all like pissed, and like runs up the hill. And I watch him forever, dude, because I shot him with a rifle 100 times.
Oh no!
And then not only that, but when I shot, I blew out the herd of sheep that I was trying to move it on. And so I'm like, okay, now it's getting later in the morning. I'm like, okay, well, let's try again. Mm-hmm. So I move in on that.
We're getting low on arrows here.
Yeah, so now I've lost a couple arrows.
4?
And I shot one, yeah. So we're down to
2 arrows?
3 arrows now.
Oh, 3 arrows, okay.
Wait, 2 arrows.
Yeah.
2 arrows.
Yeah.
And I'm
2 arrows is not enough.
Yeah, but I'm still feeling confident. Like, you only need
confidence
one arrow.
is high, yeah.
Let's
go.
You only need one.
You only need one. So, yeah, 2 arrows. Okay, that's right. So I get down into this little dip again, and I can hear the sheep again moving around. And I get to this little bush thing, and I'm like, if I can get to that bush, put that between me and them, I'm just going to wait. And then I'll wait for an opportunity. So I get down to that bush, and I can see there's like ewes like 10 yards from me. I'm just like, oh, just don't move. Mm-hmm. And this one ram, I can see him chasing a ewe in front of me, and I range it, and it's like 38 yards. And by the time I got set, I figured he moved another 3 or 4 yards. And so I'm like, oh, that's way farther than I want to shoot. But I'm like, I'm having a hell of a time getting within range of these things.
Right.
So I'm like, I should be able to make that. So I put it at, I think I figured he was 40, and I was like, I should probably hold a little bit higher.
Just a smidge.
Yeah. And I let it rip. And I don't see the arrow, but I hear a smack. And I'm like, oh, definitely hit him.
Yeah, got him.
And so, but then the whole group comes together like sheep do when they run. And there's just like all these sheep, and they all, like, some of them look the same, some of them are completely different, and they're all running together in a herd, and there's like, and they all run off. I'm like, I don't even know which sheep it is that I shot.
Right.
And so they all run, and I don't see any of them fall. And I'm like watching. I'm like, oh. Then they come back onto the skidder road I'm on, and they're just running down away from me.
Dude, we need an AR.
Dude, it would have been over. So now I'm like.
Now you're speaking my language.
Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, I don't know what happened. So I go down there and I'm looking for blood. Can't find nothing. I follow the area where they ran through, and now everything's like dust and lava rock.
Oh, God.
So you can't.
Yeah.
For one, it'd be really hard to find any blood, especially if they trampled on it.
Right.
It'd be gone.
Yeah.
But two, it's like you can't track in it either, like tracks. And there's like they've been all through there, you know, and it's a dry climate, so it's like they've been through there all over. So I'm like, all right, well, I know they all ran up to the road, and I'm like, and I didn't see one pile over, but then who knows, you know?
Right.
And so I walk up to the road and I go up to where I last saw the group, and I follow them for a little bit, and then I find a couple drops of blood.
Oh, now we're talking.
And I'm like, okay, we got blood.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, more blood. And all of a sudden, I look up, and there he is. He was bedded right off the road, and he jumps up and takes off. And I'm like, there he is. You know, he's got an arrow sticking out of him. But what happened was it was like a perfect shot, which is, this is going to be a total bash of Montec broadheads. Complete shit, by the way. It went in about this far.
Oh,
so
shit.
about 3 inches maybe. And maybe 4 inches. But it was like, oh, maybe it's enough penetration to have gotten along. I don't know. But it's like perfect behind the shoulder shot and just didn't get enough penetration. I don't know if it hit a rib.
Right.
Maybe it probably hit a rib and broke the rib, and got a little bit of penetration, but it didn't get enough. Don't chime in yet, Doug. Don't chime in yet.
I'm not saying nothing.
So
that's why I build my own arrows.
Yeah. Montec broadheads. Big plug for you guys there.
Definitely not with those broadheads.
Yeah. That's the second time I've had something similar happen with that same broadhead, which I should have known better. But I know. I was in a hurry.
You're in a hurry. You're like, I'm going to shoot some stinky goats.
Yeah. I'm like, there's little goats. Like, how much broadhead do I need?
Yeah, right.
And so I track it again. And now when I see it run off, I'm keeping eyes on it the whole time. I'm like, I'm not losing it, like, because it's not bleeding a lot.
Right.
And I don't know if I'll be able to find it again.
Right.
So I like run after it kind of for a while, but staying back behind it to where I'm not making a bunch of noise.
Right.
Just watching him, trying to get him to bed down again. He goes and drops in this little hole, and then he doesn't come out. I'm like, he's got to be in there. So there's this little mound. I creep up to the top of the mound, slow as can be, got an arrow knocked, and I look down, don't see him. There's like one bush, and I'm looking. I stand there for like 5 minutes, looking. I don't see nothing. I'm like, dude, he's in here. I know he is. So I like take one more step, and boom, he jumps out of the bush I've been staring at for 10 minutes.
No.
Boom, takes off again. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so like I do the same thing. Like I keep eyes on him. I watch him. I watch him go down into this ravine. I run up there to the edge and I wait. And I'm like kind of watching to see if he comes out the other end. He doesn't come out. I'm like, okay. We'll wait here for a few minutes. Now it's been a while, so I'm like, okay, I don't think he's gonna bleed out.
Right.
Like if he was gonna die, he would have already been in that portion of his life. But he's not. So I'm like, I need to get another arrow in the sheep. And so I creep up to the edge of that, and he sees me, and he's standing down in that bottom of this little draw thing. And I'm like, shit. And he's like, I range it 33 yards. I'm like, okay, that's easy.
I got this.
Yeah. So I get to full draw. I take one step forward. He's broadside. Whew. There's one limb between somewhere in the middle.
No.
It's just one dead branch like this. Somewhere between me and him, like right in the middle. It hits that limb. Ching, boom, right into the rocks. Boom, hits the rocks.
Explodes the arrow.
Yeah, he takes off. And I'm thinking, and I can see the arrow.
Right.
And I'm like, that's my last arrow. Right? And I'm like, shit. No, was it my last arrow? Yeah.
Oh, it's your last arrow.
It was my last arrow.
It is your last arrow.
And so I run up.
Do we know how to count?
I don't know, Doug. All I know at this
point,
maybe there was another maybe there was another arrow lost in between. I don't know.
So your arrow, is it blown up?
We're not counting
So
or anything.
I see it laying there, and I'm like, I can run up, and in my head, I'm like, I still have a chance.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
No, you
I'll
don't.
run up, and I'll
grab that arrow. And
it gets way more colorful than this, Kris. So I can go and grab that arrow, And then I'll have it again, and I'll shoot the same arrow and shoot this
Rambo him. Yeah.
And I run up to it, and I pick up the arrow, and the broadhead's broken off. It's gone. So it's just a stubbed arrow, and I'm like, damn it.
It's probably the same as shooting those Montecs, right?
Oh, yeah, same thing. And so now I'm like, oh, shit.
Should I shoot it with the stubby arrow?
Shoot it in the eyeball, dude.
I thought about it. I was like, there's no way. I'm like, if the broadhead doesn't get any penetration, there's no way this stubby arrow is
shoot it in the eyeball.
You gotta shoot it right in the eyeball, dude. Dude. Then you're gonna make the news. Local sheep walking around with arrows sticking out of his eyeball.
At this point, I'm just like, what an S show, dude. James, what are you doing? And I looked it up, like it's in an area where you can use a rifle, and I'm like,
damn it!
No, I didn't. I bring a rifle, and so I'm like, okay, well, I keep an eye on this thing still, and then it drops into this little thing, and I'm like, okay, maybe I could like catch it or something, like,
right.
Well, it drops into this thing, and it completely disappears, and I'm like, okay, and now.
Catch it, James. Come on.
Dude.
Let's be real. What were you going to do? What were you really going to do?
Dude, he was a mutton busting champion of
1995,
dude.
We'll get more into this.
Jim pulls his knife out. He's like, all right, this is what I got.
I did pull out my buck knife.
Did you lash it to a stick?
I put it in my pocket, and I thought if I can get a hold of this thing and grab it by its back legs or something, I can.
I'm surprised you didn't go grab a stick and start lashing it to it and make a makeshift spear.
I'm in Hawaii, like. That's how they hunt in Hawaii is like they use dogs and they get the pigs pinned down and then they stick them. I'm like, if they can do that to a wild pig, I could do it to a
sheep.
Dude,
you got this. 100% you got this, yeah.
And so I see it disappear into this thing. Well, now in between this time, I'm running into all kinds of groups of these things all over, like 20, 30 yards, some of them way bigger than the one I just shot.
Oh, dude.
And I'm just like, I have no arrows.
Right.
And I'm just like, this sucks. But all I care about is trying to recover the one that I already shot.
Yeah.
Right. And it's got an arrow sticking out of it. I feel bad.
Yeah.
It just didn't get any penetration. It's just, I'm like, I feel bad. This sheep's running around with an arrow sticking out of it. And so I go to where I last saw it. Can't find any blood. I found like one drop on a rock, and then it was like just disappeared. And it could have went 3 different directions. I gridded it out for like the next 2.5, 3 hours, looking for any sign, trying to find them. And it's all open country, so like didn't jump them, nothing. I'm like, damn, dude. And then now it's getting really hot, so I'm like, okay, I'll check a couple more spots. And I just looked everywhere. I could not find them again. And I was like, damn it. And so I'm like, this sucks. So then I go down, I hike back down to my car. I take off and I tell Tiffany, I'm like, I screwed up. I couldn't find this thing.
I don't have any more arrows.
I don't have any more arrows.
I shot $7,000 worth of arrows.
I'm done hunting.
No more hunting for me. And so, but it kind of like ate at me for the next like 24 hours. I just kept thinking about it. Like, dude, that thing had to have, like, it bedded down twice and I jumped it twice.
Yeah.
I'm like, it has to be around there. It has to be.
Yeah.
Right? So I started thinking, and I looked on Onyx. I'm like, what if he skirted around behind me in the mix of me going in and trying to follow him? He skirted around behind me and came back to where we started.
Right.
And I'm like, it's a long shot, but maybe.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to go back up there. So I went back up and I looked, right? And I have this plan. I start gridding back and forth. I got my tracker on Onyx. I'm going back and forth. I'm making sure I'm checking every nook and cranny there is.
But do you have your bow or you got no arrows, right?
Nothing. I got my knife.
Okay.
And I'm like, I think this is the next day. This is like, at this point, I'm like, if he died earlier, then the meat's going to be spoiled.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to be recovering his head, right?
Right.
If he had died somewhat recently, like leading up to that,
you got a chance.
I got a chance to recover the meat.
Yeah.
And, so I just want to find him and like get some closure on this. And I'm looking and I'm 2 hours in. I'm gridding back and forth, dude. I'm just sweating bullets because it's hot. And I go down all the way back down to the main road. And like it's like maybe he found this ravine that we started off in and circled around me and then got in this ravine and followed it down.
Right.
So I followed that ravine all the way down to the main road. And down there, towards that spot. Like I looked for a long time, and this is like last few minutes. I'm gonna look. Like I'm done, and I get a whiff of what smells like sheep or something, and I'm like, it might be something. So I pick up a handful of dirt, throw it up in the air. Dust comes back straight in my face.
Right.
And I'm like looking down at the main road, and I'm like, there's this ravine. And I see these two like concrete culvert things going underneath the road for drainage.
Right.
And they're like probably about this tall, right?
Okay.
So like you could crouch down almost and get in it.
Right.
And they're about this wide.
Okay.
And I go down closer, and it's getting stronger. And I can see like it looks like the wind's coming up through those culverts. And
right.
I'm like, no way. And I go down to the edge of that culvert, and I peek down to look in there. And I shit you not, he's standing there in the culvert with the arrow sticking out of him. And he sees me. He's like, oh, shit. And he starts running.
No freaking way.
He starts running to the other side of the culvert. And I'm like, oh, shit. But there was another one off to the side of him, to the left of him.
Right.
I get in that culvert, and I start crawling through that culvert, and I can hear him and his hooves in the culvert next to me. And I'm like trying to beat him to the other side, because if he gets to the other side, he's going to be gone. So I'm like trying to cut him off and push him back across, or at least get to him.
Right.
And I get down to the end, and I beat him by a hair, and I come around the corner, like right as I come out the culvert, and he's right there, and he's like, shit. And he turns around and goes back through the culvert the other way.
Oh, my God.
And he goes back and running, and then I chase him through that culvert.
Dude.
And I chase him all the way out, and I see him squirt out the other end. Now I have a really bad cramp in my leg because I hunched over and ran through that culvert.
God.
My backpack's dragging on the top. Dude, this is just a disaster. And I'm just like, what am I doing? This is like one of the stupidest, weirdest things I've ever done hunting in my life.
Dude.
But I'm trying to get this damn sheep, right?
Yeah. Right.
And he has an arrow sticking out of him still.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I can catch him. Like, if I can get him in the open, I can catch him and then finish this.
Classic cowboy.
Yeah. And so, dude, I don't even know if this is appropriate for like. It's the truth. This is what happened.
Plug your ears, kids.
So I follow him for a while, and I watch him disappear into this little dip. And I'm like, I bet you bedded down again.
And what buck knife do you have on you, by the way?
I have the pack light, but I'm using the bigger one.
The bigger one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good sticker.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a good blade. It's about that long.
Yeah.
And I got it,
You'll
and
get
I'm
some
like,
vitals with that.
my plan was go on the side that the arrow's not on, because I don't need an arrow whipping around.
Yeah.
I was going to try to grab him by his horns and like steer wrestle him to the ground.
Right. Why wouldn't you? You know, it's a good idea.
Cowboy it up.
Yeah.
Make a story out of that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Dude, we're mutton
I'm like,
busting.
he has a full curl, so it's like I could get a hold of those horns and just
Right.
like twist them down to the ground.
Yeah.
That was my plan. And so I go up to the edge where I saw him disappear. And same thing, like the one before.
Yeah.
I peek over the edge. I don't see nothing. And I'm like, there's like a little ledge right here, and it's about this deep. And it's like dirt, and there's some rock. And I'm like standing there on the edge, and I'm looking all over. I'm like, where did this thing go? And all of a sudden, I just like turn like this, and it's like from here to that chair.
Oh, shit.
And I see it laying up in the shadows underneath the bank like this.
Right.
And I'm like,
Did you go Superman on him?
no. So there was like a rock in between us, so I
Right.
couldn't like jump on it, you know?
Right.
And they're very fast. They're very quick on their feet, too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Damn it.
And so I go, okay, I'm going to like back off. I'm going to come around right over top of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm just going to like sneak up to him and grab his horn.
Yeah. I like that.
Right.
It's a great plan.
Yeah. So I'm like sneaking up there. Dude, this is the craziest thing. I'm sneaking up there. I'm like on my hands and knees, and I'm like trying to get in close. And I'm like, I'm going to reach over, and I'm like right over top of him. And I'm like getting ready to grab his horn, and I can see it out of the left side of his eye. Like he gets this crazy look in his eye, and he's just like, oh shit. And he jumps up and takes off again. And I go up, and I jump up, and I start running, dude. I ran as hard as I could in lava rock without breaking an ankle. And that thing was way faster than me.
Oh, dude.
Until I ran until I got so tired I couldn't run anymore. I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, what am I doing?
Oh, dude.
And so I pushed him like a little bit further, and then I was like, dude, this thing seems like it's fine. Like, I think it's going to live.
Right.
Like, so I'm like,
Yeah,
ready.
you've already pushed it to the max for 2 days.
Yeah. I'm like, I think this thing's going to heal up and break that arrow off.
Yeah, he ain't
For
dying.
sure.
Dude.
No,
He
he's
definitely
not dying.
No.
And so at that point, I was just like, I give up. And of course, I see a couple more giant sheep while I'm
Right.
up there too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, this sucks. But, you know, as far as like from an adventure standpoint, it's a wild story and it's a wild thing to happen.
And you learned your lesson.
I learned a lot of lessons on this. Some of these lessons I've learned before, like bring enough arrows.
Yeah, but you never learned.
Don't
the first
use
time.
Montec broadheads.
It takes a second time.
Bring a spear.
Yeah.
Bring a spear.
Well, and Matt Hartsock was telling me, he's like, yeah, you should like bring something with you in case he's still alive. I'm like, oh, he's going to either be dead or I'm not going to find him.
Right.
And he was right. He was
You
like,
should have taken the broom handle and duct taped your buck knife to it.
That's
You-
what I'm saying. That's what I
Matt
just said.
That's what Matt said. He said, take your knife and make it a spear. I'm like, yeah, if I would have had a spear, dude,
Dude,
you can spear hunt in Hawaii too.
you would have Tim Slock mastered him.
Yeah, the Slock Master.
Yeah.
He would have been proud.
But
Oh, Tim Wells.
what a freaking wild, like, never in my life would I have ever thought I was going to try to catch a wild animal and stab it with a knife.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me a bit. I could see you doing that all day. Twice on Sundays.
Same season.
I wouldn't do that with like an elk. I wouldn't do it with a bear. I wouldn't do it with probably even a big buck. I wouldn't do it because it's too dangerous. But a sheep, meh,
Meh.
why not? Meh,
A goat. Meh.
meh, meh.
If it's
So-
smaller than you.
So if you live on the Big Island of Hawaii and you happen to find a full curl, look like a hybrid kind of sheep with an arrow sticking out of it, give me a call and let me know how that turned
Oh,
out.
it's mine. I claimed it.
Oh, dude.
I'd love to know
It's
the
got
full
my
story.
It's got my stakes in it.
I'm looking forward to taking a trip there and doing that.
Dude, it's gonna be awesome.
We gotta hook up with some peeps over there. Some peeps.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot
be
of
a good
hunting
old
to do there, and it's not super hard. I mean, it's expensive to get there
Right.
and like to stay there, but the hunting itself isn't severely expensive.
You should get like an Airbnb or something.
Yeah, get an Airbnb or
Yeah.
you could even stay at a fancy resort like I did and bring your dead animals back there.
Dude, that'd be hilarious.
Yeah, I put the goat horns and stuff in the we had a full size fridge, with
Right.
freezer and everything. So like the top part
Right.
was all goat. So
Dude,
like when the
that's so
cleaners
funny.
went there, I would imagine they just like open it like to get some ice or something.
like,
They're
Dude, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Yep. So
Did
that
you
was
leave
my
a bloody mess in there too?
no, dude. Actually, I kept it pretty clean. I had my caribou game bags. Kept it all like nice and
Yeah.
clean. The rental car probably smelled like stinky goat a little bit, but
Minor technicality. No big deal. That's really
they
cool,
do
though.
smell. But I'd love to hear about your Texas trip.
Should we go Texas or should we save it? What do you think? How far into this are we?
I have no idea. Jim, take a peek.
Dude, I will tell you, the food, back to the food in Argentina, they have some of the craziest looking animals, Doug. They had this thing that looked like a rabbit, and it looked like half rabbit, half capybara, half.
Capybara?
Yeah, it was, dude, so it was like this big, right? And it had a big round butt, and it had a black line. It was brown on top, black line, and then it was white, perfectly straight black line. And then half of its butt was white, and the top part of it was brown. It was the weirdest looking animal. It's protected. I already asked. I couldn't shoot one. Couldn't export it.
Is it chupacabra?
Dude, it was crazy looking. I was like, oh my God, what was that? And they're like, oh, it's a and I'm like, I never seen one in my entire life. Never seen anything.
How much?
Yeah, and I'm like, hey, I want to shoot those. I need those. What do they taste like? And they're like, yeah, you can't shoot them. They're protected. And I'm like, God, dude, they were the coolest looking critters. Yeah, but they kind of, yeah, it was weird, dude. They were like half rabbit, half capybara. It was the weirdest thing. And then there was some other critter that apparently you could shoot, but I couldn't export it. But you could hunt them there. And they made us some. They every day they're like, again, back to the food. They're like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and lots of snacks. So like this lady brings us out this big bowl of meat, and it's like chunks of meat, like chicken nugget size almost. But it's like, it almost looks like pork, but it's like got the texture of chicken, right? And so it's like some of the meat's kind of like flaked off. And so they bring in, it's got all sorts of spices and oil and nonsense in it. And then obviously all the bread and everything is handmade there every single day. It's freaking wildly good. And so I'm eating this and I'm like, God, it's a very unique meat, you know? I'm like, what is this? And it was that weird little animal they got there. But again, you can't export it. You know, so I'm like, well, I don't want to go shoot something I can't export. That would suck, you know. But I thought about it just to eat them. But they're like, we got lots of this meat, so I was like, all right.
Yeah, right.
It was super tasty. Yeah, they had a lot. I ate all the animals there. We ate buffalo. We ate axis deer. Or not axis deer. We ate fallow deer.
How was buffalo?
Dude, they made. I'm going to say it was probably one of the best burgers I've ever had in my life.
Really?
The meat was like.
It's lean, isn't it?
It was super lean, but really good flavor, like not gamey. But it was, I don't know, they had a great chef, dude. The burger was almost like light, you know, like fluffy almost.
Oh, they probably mixed like
something,
breading
but
I
didn't taste any breading. That was a weird thing.
Huh.
Like it didn't taste like meatloaf, right? It was just meat, but the meat was like. It was like light. It wasn't like a dense meat. And I would say it was like a medium grind. You know, it wasn't like a fine grind where it was almost like pasty and dense. And it wasn't a rough grind where it was like, you know, almost like little chunks of steak, you know.
Yeah.
And freaking delicious. Like, the guy there, he had like a jacked up neck or something. His head was always cocked to the side like this. You know, almost like a hunchback kind of look to him.
Like Doug will be after doing excavation work for 30 years.
Oh, my God. Dude, he was
I'm already there.
I don't know what this guy's name was, but he was one of the best cooks. Like, oh, man, it was good.
Mike Concho?
Hey, do we have enough time for Texas? What do you think?
I don't know.
Let her rip, Tater Chip.
I want to hear about Texas.
Well,
it's going to be a minute before we do this again. Might as well get her in.
sponsored by
Coors Light.
Consider this 2 podcasts, folks, because
We're going to Montana here
it's
2
Be
days.
a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to Cabo, and I don't know if I'm able to hunt anything in Cabo. Texas. I get back Wednesday at like 2 p.m.
Yeah, you were home for how long?
Wednesday at 2 p.m.
18 hours probably.
and I left at like 8:30 Thursday morning. So I don't know how many hours that is because I'm still too tired to figure it out because I've been working full tilt like a Peterbilt since I got back. But we get to SeaTac, Matt and I. So Matt Russell comes, stays the night, Wednesday night. And so Thursday morning we leave and get to SeaTac. We're flying Alaska Airlines. We get to SeaTac Airport. All of Alaska is under construction and shut down.
Oh, jeez.
Completely covered, like plywood, the whole deal. And they got these weird space-age, white-looking luggage taker type things. No, like, dude, it's a total shit show.
Yeah.
Complete disaster.
Sounds like a mess.
And I wheel in 2 rifles. I have an AR with a thermal on it because I'm going to hunt pigs, right? And my 300 PRC, you know. And I'm like, oh, great, here we go, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm trying to figure all this nonsense out.
Trying to figure out where you can probably check
I'm like,
guns.
hey, by the way, we have rifles, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's this big to do. I'm like, son of a bitch. So we finally talked to some dude, and he's like, come over here, and he gives us this thing. And long story short, we finally figure out we got to go to the other end of the airport to go dump our guns off. So we get down there, we dump our guns off. That went super smooth. And we get through, we get on the plane, and I'm sitting there, and Matt goes, you booked the car, right? And I go, oh, shit, no, I didn't. So, because when we're flying to San Antonio, once I get to San Antonio, we have a 2-hour drive to where we're going. So, I'm like, shit. So, I get on my phone, real quick, boom, booked it, dude, no problem. Flying into San Antonio, the worst, bumpiest flight I've ever had, ever. Bump, like, dude, I'm talking like, I've been on bumpy, dude. I'm talking like, well, you know, I've had a good life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hopefully someone nice raises my kid, you know.
That bad?
That bad.
I've been on those before too.
I had to raise the window of the plane so I could look out like I'm on a boat, right? And I'm trying to look level on the horizon because I thought I was going to throw up.
Really?
It was that bad. And I'm not a pukey guy, you know.
Yeah.
I've thrown up 5 times my whole life probably. Like, and I'm like, what the and I'm waiting for the smell of puke to start wafting over our shoulders from all the people throwing up behind us, right?
And how is Matt doing on this?
He's doing okay, you know. We had a few cocktails, so he was doing all right, you know.
Yeah.
So we land, and we're like, let's go. We're trying to. The San Antonio airport's kind of weird too. It's like we got to go down and up and across and over to try and find the rental car place. It's like a long walk, dude. It's up multiple floors and elevators and all sorts of shit. We have rifles, which is a huge pain in the ass because they don't fit in the elevator because they got itty bitty tiny elevators there.
Oh boy.
It was a mess, dude. So we finally get to the Hertz rental car, and Prince helps us out. I'm not making that up. This giant black man named Prince.
Okay.
Like way bigger than me. And he goes,
Did he say, purple rain?
Purple rain. And he goes, hey man, you're not supposed to be here for 2 weeks. And I go, hey man, no I'm not. I booked the car 4 hours ago. I'm supposed to pick it up today. And he goes, you booked it for 2 weeks. And I'm like, you've got to be shitting me.
Jeez.
So now I'm standing there with no car and a car in 2 weeks when I'm not going to be in San Antonio. So long story short, I have to book another car. It was a total mess.
At the same place they had another car, though?
Yeah, I was just like, well, give me the freaking car that I booked in 2 weeks. He's like, okay, it's here. You know, they have plenty of cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I book another car. It cost me another $300.
That was the stupidest thing.
It was I booked it through Expedia, so I had to call Expedia, and Expedia couldn't help me, so then I do it through Hertz. And he's like, oh yeah, I got you squared away. And I look at my credit card bill, and it's $600 instead of $300. And I'm like, whatever, dude. It's
So you're full of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll figure itself out.
Hopefully, you know.
Should have taken one out of the last
Prince,
Texas trip and got the U-Haul.
Yeah, Prince seemed like a good guy, but you know. So we get in this. What the hell were we in? Nissan SUV.
Like a
What are those? Which one are those?
crossover SUV or something?
Yeah, it's like a big, like a. It had I think it had 3 rows of seats.
Like an Xterra?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just like that.
Okay.
So we hop in this thing, a 2-hour drive, and we're zipping, and it's I don't know what highway we're on, but it's a straight shot for 2 hours, right? We're headed towards Uvalde, Texas, and it's dark, and so we're like all of a sudden noticing man, off in the distance, it's getting pretty spicy over there where we're headed, you know, I didn't know that the freeway went straight for 2 hours, but it goes straight for 2 hours. That's exactly where we're headed. Dude, the type of lightning where it comes out and it looks like fingers and it comes across the sky and it doesn't go down on the ground. It's just like, fuck you, you know, and I'm like, oh, great, this is where we're headed. Yeah. Next thing you know, ring, ring. It's Brandon because he's at camp, right?
Yeah.
At the place where we're going, and he goes, hey, we just went down and checked, and some of the lower ranch roads are completely flooded out, dude. I don't think – what kind of rig are you driving? And I'm like, I don't know, a little SUV. And he's like, I don't think you're going to make it. He goes, man. It's up like past our knees already. And I'm like, dude, I'm not making it.
No.
You know? And so all the roads coming in to there too.
We got a lifted truck.
Yeah. Well, come to find out, the roads had trees and shit coming through rivers that were all because it wouldn't flash floods there, right? Because that ground wasn't soaking any water up. So all the roads are jacked. We get into Uvalde. We're like, okay, we're just trying to make a decision. Like, hey, dude, I'm not not getting stuck in a flash flood here. And it's pouring rain. The freaking lightning's coming down like crazy. I mean, it's just wild. And I'm like, let's just get a hotel. We'll stay here. It's like, 10:30 or whatever it was. And Matt's like, I need some food. I'm like, all right, let's go get some food. Matt, he's hungry. Mm-hmm. And so we drive by. He drive by Applebee's. He's like, there's Applebee's. I'm like, dude, I didn't come all the way to Texas to eat at Applebee's, right?
Yeah.
So we drive around. I look for food for like 20 minutes, dude. Everything is shut down.
Oh, no.
Everything. So we end back up
at
Applebee's in Uvalde, Texas. And I'm like, this sucks, dude. And so we eat some dog shit.
Did you get the 2 encore or the 2?
I don't even know what I got. I was just
for $20.
The whole time I'm there, I'm thinking, Applebee's
on the date night.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm having date night with Matt at Applebee's. All I know is I was like, bring me a beer and then bring me another one after you bring me the first one.
Yeah, Salisbury steaks for dinner.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah, the food was terrible, dude. It was freaking terrible, but the beer was good. So we do that. Go to the hotel. We the old Holiday Inn Express there in Uvalde. Pretty nice, by the way. Dude, the breakfast there was legit. Like, it's the nicest breakfast area I've ever seen in like that type of hotel.
Everything's bigger in Texas,
dude. They had a.
Was it Continental?
They had a freaking pancake machine.
Oh, like one of the ones that you push the button and it's like. Brrr.
And it had a conveyor belt.
Oh yeah.
And then it just and a pancake fell at the end, and I'm like, holy
it's
shit!
Like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Yes.
The never-ending gobstopper.
Yeah, and I was like, holy shit! I mean, the pancakes were terrible, but it was still awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they were like rubber.
Make me another one.
Yeah. Matt made me when he's like, try this. I tried it. He's like, it's bad, huh? And I'm like, yeah, it's real bad, but it's still cool. Still cool. Yeah. So we have breakfast there, and then we got to go to Walmart because we had to get coolers because we plan on bringing all the meat home, right? So we go to Walmart. We buy 4 coolers. We stuff it in the back of the rig. We go out there. We meet the guy who owns the ranch. Brandon, our taxidermist, is there. Kate went, his wife too, which was pretty cool, right? Super nice gal. So she's cleaning and cooking us food and doing all sorts of fun stuff. And so we go out, and the guy who owns it, he's not there very much. And I was like, oh, how many deer you got here? And he's like, oh, I think I got like 200. Dude, he does not have 200 deer there.
Really?
Not even close. Like, it's not that big a ranch. He's probably got a dozen, dude.
Really?
Yeah, like it is. Unless they were hiding in some far corner that we never went to, but which we really did not go to. It's not that big a ranch. Like, yeah, dude, there's no.
You guys killed all of them?
Well, so I never saw one the first day.
Okay.
Matt shot at a black buck and missed the first day because we hadn't shot our guns, right? Mm-hmm. So he had some shit in his gun. Long story short, he went and shot it 2 more times, and it was far left, and then the third shot, it was right on the money. So he had some shit. He just had to blow out of his gun. Now it's fine. So the second day, I think it was the second day, Brandon's like, hey, by the way, like, don't pass up on anything. If you see a buck, you shoot a buck. And I'm like, well, I was going to be kind of picky. You guys are showing me all these pictures of these deer or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know how old the pictures of the deer were, but I'm like, because I sat out there through dark, right?
Oh,
like the first night I had to come in because we had, again, a massive lightning and thunderstorm, and it started raining.
In the middle of the night.
Oh, my God, dude. They hit me up with a walkie-talkie. Dude, get back here. Like, don't be sitting in that metal blind. Like, I'm like, okay. So that was the first night. Second night we go out, or second day, like we're hunting, like dark to dark. Like, I mean, we're hunting.
You guys are hunting hard.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm getting up at 5 something in the morning, and we go out, and I was coming back at 11:30 at night.
I mean, not hunting hard. But
yeah. No, I'm sitting
trying
there.
hard.
You're sitting hard.
You're sitting hard, dude.
Honestly,
sometimes that's worse.
I'd rather be hiking a mountain.
Me too.
Yes.
100%.
Sitting on my butt for however many hours during a day is horrible.
It's terrible.
I don't like it. I don't want to do it.
I sleep about 50% of it.
Dude, it sucked.
So you guys have been told, like, any buck just shoot any buck, any
So,
access buck?
Yeah, he says like there's a management buck and a trophy buck. So like the management bucks are like any that are super jacked up, basically, you know, or weird genetics or something he doesn't want.
So was did the one you got?
So it was like mine was all broke to shit.
Yeah.
Which there was a little bit of confusion. The guy was super nice. Like he was
Yeah.
really nice. But like my buck that I shot was broke to shit. Like one time was completely broke off, another time was half broke off. So I thought it was a management buck. And he goes, well, if it would have grown back next year, it probably would have grown back normal, and then it would have been a trophy buck. But long story short, again, super nice guy. He gave it to me as a management buck.
Okay.
But I wanted to shoot a big dude. He showed me some pictures of some bucks twice the size of the deer I shot.
Yeah.
Twice the size, dude, giant deer. And I'm like, I'll shoot 2. I will gladly pay you for a management and a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. Like, dude, big deer.
Yeah.
So, again, I just think there's other guys that hunt there, and I think they just shot the shit out of the deer, to be completely honest. Like, 'cause maybe they were hiding. I don't know. But, like, again, the ranch isn't that big. We drove around it in, like, 20 minutes. Like, it's not that big.
Mm-hmm.
So, the one, again, I'm sitting there all day, like, I don't know when it was, 2 o'clock or something. This deer walks out. I shoot this deer. 300 PRCM, dude. Just, you know.
How far?
Not far.
50 yards?
It was probably 100 yards maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But, like.
Stoned him.
Dude, yeah. I mean, it was so, again, back to self-filming, right? People don't realize. It's such a pain. So there's feeders, right, to bring the deer in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the rest of the property is thick as shit. Like you can't walk through it. It's that thick. I'm in a sweet blind, by the way, like because it's got like a tall window, a long skinny slotted window, and then another tall window. So you got like a bow window, 2 rifle windows. Mm-hmm. Nice blind, good setup. Yeah. So I got the camera set up in the bow window, right, because it's lower, and I'm pointed right at the feeder, which is like, I don't know, 120, 30 yards, whatever it is. Deer comes out from there. I'm like, you know, oh, here it comes. And so I'm like, boop, and I'm trying to be quiet, and I hit the button. It starts recording. It comes in. And the deer comes in, and he's like, nibble, nibble, fuck you, and leaves. And I'm like, no, you know, because I want to get footage. And then he's walking, and I'm looking at the camera. My gun's set up in this high window. I'm down in the low window trying to work the camera. I can't see because I can't have my glasses on because then I can't see through my rifle scope.
Yeah.
So I'm like, shit. And he's like, he comes in, eats, he's like, deuces, and pieces out.
Really?
Like, nibble now. And I'm like, crap. So I got the viewfinder open on the camera, and I got the handle on the back of the tripod head, you know, and I'm like, and I move, and I get on my gun. Shit, you did something. And I move, and I get on my shit, and I move, and I get on my gun, and I'm like, and I do this multiple times, and so the camera was like, you know, as I'm turning this. It's the worst camera work ever, by the way. Before you watch it, Doug, I'm sorry. And so finally, I'm like, fuck it, and there's a tree, and that's my break because I can't go that much farther past this tree, right? So I was like, I'm going to turn the camera just past that tree, and when he comes past that tree, I'm going to give him the business, right?
Yeah.
Whether he stops or not, I don't give a shit. He's not walking that fast. And so I'm like I make all this scenario up in my mind on the fly, you know. I'm like, okay, here we go. And I'm watching the viewfinder. I'm like, that's about right. And I let go, and I grab my gun, and I get up there, and he comes back, and I'm like, fucking boom. And I touch that 300 PRC off. And, dude, like a ton of shit. Just
folded him,
dude. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, he falls backwards and dead, instantly dead, right? So then I'm super excited. I'm like, oh, maybe another one will come out, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll shoot too. That didn't happen.
Yeah, they're all gone.
They're all gone. So
was there whitetail on this ranch too?
He said there were. I never saw a single whitetail deer.
Really?
Yeah. Because he's like, don't shoot the whitetail. And I'm like, okay, I won't shoot the whitetail. I think it gets hunted a lot harder than he thinks. Again, he's not down there that much, and there's other guys that go there and hunt. And to be fair, he's got many illegals on his ranch because it's South Texas. It's right by the border, so people probably poach the shit out of it, I would think. And there's multiple owners, surrounding property owners on this property. There's probably like 5 or 6 other owners. So they probably hop fences and shoot stuff or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
Well, nowadays, I mean, they're just fucking snagging up all these whitetails to breed them.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
It's big money
in Texas.
Yeah, it's big money.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Like, they might just see it on the edge of the fence. Oh, Bob's not here.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you know some out-of-state guy owns a big ranch and he's never there, I'm
It's
sure
easy
everyone knows.
pickings.
Yeah. Because there is no way that guy has as many deer on that property as he thinks he does. Dude.
No way.
So the whole time I was that same day I saw 2 axis does and 1 buck. So I saw 4 axis deer the whole time I was there, and I hunted, dude. Oh, I hunted a lot,
Yeah.
And I shot, and the other buck that I saw it was in velvet. It was only half grown. Apparently they breed like all year, right? So
Really?
so I shot a hardhorn buck, right? And the other deer was like only half grown.
So they're not like on a cycle like normal deer.
Mm-mm.
So they just they grow horns whenever.
Just willy-nilly.
Depending on
Yeah.
when they're breeding.
Yeah.
The breeding is year round then, or
I guess.
whenever.
It's super weird.
I don't know.
It was super duper weird. Yeah, because I asked him, I'm like, hey, dude.
Because the one that Matt got was in velvet.
Yeah.
And yours was hardhorn. And I was like, I don't understand this.
And the other one I saw literally was just grown out so they have a classic axis deer has 3 points, right? It has the big fronts, has a main beam, and then off the back it has like a 3rd point, right?
Yeah.
So the first one I saw was just matched up with that front tine. That's how tall it was. So it just looked like a 2-point, basically.
And you don't want to shoot those ones.
No, because that could grow into a giant deer. And the guy's like, hey, don't shoot that. You can, but you're going to pay a trophy price. And I was like, well, I don't want to shoot a half-grown deer. That's kind of a dick move, Like,
Yeah.
for some other guy could shoot this big giant trophy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a selfish guy, but, I'm not trying to race to hell.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you don't really want that anyway.
yeah, like,
It's not what you came there for.
Yeah, and
The one that Matt got was in full velvet though.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it was grown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was missing one of his fronts. It was a nice buck still. Like, Matt shot a really nice deer.
His deer looked really pretty.
Dude, the velvet was perfect.
Really?
It's beautiful.
I
was
get
like,
it mounted with the velvet on and everything?
yeah, because they left the antlers in there. I wanted one. The guy showed me a picture of one in velvet that was like literally 2 times the size of the one I shot, and it was all in velvet. And I was like, dude, I want that so bad.
That'd be so cool.
Never saw it. Never saw it. Well, I never saw any other axis deer.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
You see a lot of pigs though.
So he goes, don't shoot the pigs until you get all your axis deer, because I don't want to scare the axis deer off, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in my childlike fascination of just yanking triggers on stuff, I was like, man, I want to shoot these friggin' pigs.
So you saw pigs.
Dude, bunches of pigs. Tons of pigs. I could have murdered so many pigs, dude. And so the last night we're there, he's like, hey, if you want to shoot pigs. And I'm like, fucking full send, bro.
Yeah.
I'm a pack of lunch. And literally, I went and sat in the last sit I did, because we went back. Like, I sat all morning. We went back. I had again, Kate's making tons of food, dude. Just like, she's trying to fatten me up. Like, giant sandwiches and shit every time I went back, and ate some food. And sucked down a couple coffees, boom, back out. And I sat there for like, I don't know, 9 hours or something was the last sit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I got the AR, and I'm like, I'm gonna lay some waste, right? Because I hadn't shot any pigs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So sitting there. The night before, some pigs came out in the light time, and I was like, dude, I can't wait to blast a pig with my 300 PRC.
Yeah.
No pigs came out in the light. I was super pissed. Now, here comes the problem of the setup I have. So Matt has a helmet with like goggles, right? So he has like he has one eye with thermal, one eye with night vision, right? And if those of you who aren't listening at home know the difference between thermal and night vision, thermal does not need any exterior light to work. The night vision does. So that it needs some sort of moonlight, starlight, some sort of manufactured light to see, right? Thermal needs none of that, right? I have a thermal on my rifle, but I was going to bring, I got that little loophole handheld thermal, and I was going to bring that so I could scan with it.
Yeah.
Forgot it like a freaking idiot.
Oh, no.
So I'm sitting in the stand, so I got the rifle set up, and I would turn it on and look. But when it kicks on, it's like a TV screen, right? It's super bright in your right eye, and it just basically blinds you.
Yeah.
And I look, nothing, so I turn it off and I sit there. And I'm, again, like 130 yards or something like that, and I'm listening. And you're trying to, like, hear them come in.
Like,
I'm half deaf. I can't hear shit anyways. But all of a sudden, I hear, like, a bunch of shit, like a ruckus all of a sudden. I'm like, oh. And I flick that little deal on. And I've been doing this all night, so you know exactly what you're looking at.
Yeah.
As soon as it's the same feeder, it's the same shadow, it's the same tree, it's the same shit. I turn it on, and there is a goddamn cloud of pigs, a smorgasbord, dude. It's just black. So I got them black hot, right?
Yeah.
So anything that's hot is black. Everything else is white. I can see nice texture color.
Yeah.
Black.
Yeah. Just cloud of pigs.
Dude, you can't see pigs. It's just black.
Yeah.
That's how many pigs there are. Dude, just pigs. There's I can't even pick out an individual pig. It's just solid black left, right. So many pigs. I'm like, I only have 10 bullets. And so I'm thinking, like, okay.
Pull the trigger as fast as you can.
Well, that was my first instinct. I'm like, okay, wait. I want a big boar, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and my heart is pounding through my fat face right now. And, like, scopes bouncing left and right. And I'm like, calm down. And I'm looking at these pigs. And finally, like, I see one on the outside turn, and I can see a whole body. And then I can see a whole body over here. And then I see one. And the thing about pigs is, like, that goat you're talking about, and, like, my dad's big buffalo, gigantic balls.
Okay.
So when it is a good, like, and this isn't even that good of a thermal, but when the pigs turn, their balls are so big you can see this giant bulge out of their butt. And so I'm like, that's a big boar, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm going to shoot that giant big nutted pig, right? And so I'm getting all excited, and I do safety off round in the chamber. I'm getting there, and he goes around the backside of the feeder. Well, again, there's so many freaking pigs. I don't know how many there are, but it's solid black.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I see is black. And he comes around, and then there's an eruption of pigs, and finally there was, like, a little break, and then all I see is a pig just, like, looking right at me. He's not looking at me. They can't see me, but it's, like, faced right to me. And I'm like, send it. Boom! And as soon as I touch off, dude, they just
scatter.
Dude, they just blow out, and I'm like, oh, shit. And I'm like... And I'm following the pigs in slow motion, dude. And I'm like, oh no, get that one. Yeah. And I think I shot 5 or 6 times. It felt like, dude, it was rapid fire machine gun.
It was like
because they were running so fast.
Oh yeah,
right.
They're quick.
And I was just like, and all of a sudden they're all just like, all gone. And I'm like,
what just happened?
What just happened? And I got like gas blowback all in my right eye. I can't see shit out of my right eye right now. And my face is all hot, I'm yanking the trigger so fast. And I'm just like, did I get any? And then I look and I see, and there's 3 black hot spots laying out there. So I got 3 dead pigs laying out there.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm just like, this is awesome. I want to do this.
I can't believe that
I want to do this
3.
again right now.
That's
right now.
impressive that you got 3.
Dude, it was wild. It was so wild.
Just let it rip.
Western.
Dude. And if I was like, man, if I had a machine gun, I see why Texas is a place to be and to have a machine gun, because you need one for pigs, dude.
Yeah.
And obviously they didn't come back. And
so did you get the big boar? Was it just a random pig?
So it ended up being a sow. It was a giant sow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't the boar. I was super pissed. I walked in there. I was like,
It was
I
a
got
giant
you.
sow.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's okay. The big boar lives on.
Yeah. So the big old big nut boar lived
Big
on.
nutted boar.
Yeah. But they were pretty good size. I will tell you this: those things smell so bad.
Really?
So bad. And I get down there and I'm all excited. I got them laid out, in Brandon taxidermist, stuffed taxidermy comes up, and then the owner of the ranch comes up, and he's like, "Hey man, good job," because obviously the owner wants us to kill pigs because they eat all his food, destroy his shit, right?
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Yeah, good," and he's helping. And, hey, let's load them up, and I'm loading them up, and dude, these things, the smell is atrocious. It is bad. And even for me, and I'm pretty good with smells, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, these things smell bad. And he's like, yeah, they're pretty gross, dude. And he's like, why didn't you shoot some like itty bitty ones? And I was like, I didn't know I was supposed to shoot. He's like, oh, we like eating the little ones. You know, he goes, the big ones taste pretty sour. And I'm like, oh man, like I don't want any sour pigs.
I wonder why.
I don't know. And then, so while we're loading them up, he's telling me this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh yeah, by the way, they're covered in fleas. And I'm like, what? Because I knew about the ticks, right? And he's like, check yourself. And I had one tick on me, and I was worried about getting the Lone Star tick fever shit.
So you can't eat meat?
So I can't eat. Dude, I panic attack the whole time I'm down there, by the way.
Yeah.
So I'm like, who am I if I can't eat meat, right?
What's the point of living on?
What's the point of living, you know? Suck start a pistol. So I'm wearing shorts when he tells me this because it's hotter than hot. And I hate fleas. I hate mosquitoes and I hate ticks. Anything that sucks my blood. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Dude, I am covered in fleas, dude. I have bites all over my legs. We get back, so we load the pigs up. We get back to like the house, right? And the guy goes, so Kate's inside cooking dinner. So it's me and Brandon and Matt and the owner. And the guy goes, hey guys, you can't go in the house. I go, what do you mean? He goes, you guys are covered in fleas. I'm not having that shit in here. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want fleas in there either because I don't want to sleep with fleas. That's disgusting. And then I'm thinking, oh geez, yeah. What do I do?
I can see where this is going. It's going complete Alcatraz, dude.
Dude, he goes, strip down, boys. And I'm like, what?
Take the garden hose.
And so I got my backpack and my rifle. So we take my backpack and my rifle off. And again, like it's been raining like really hard there. Luckily, it's not raining at this very moment. But I'm like, and he goes inside and he goes, he got the owner sticks his head in the really nice door going into this like lodge thing. He goes, hey Kate, you might want to avert your eyes. There's gonna be 4 half-naked men walking through here in a second. And I was like, sounds like we're stripping down, boys. And so down to the skivvies, like literally, pack comes off, boots, pants, shirt, coat, socks, everything. And then it was like brushing yourself off to try and get all the ticks off, or not the ticks, but the fleas off.
Yeah.
Dude, I got bit to shit.
Really?
Bit to shit. Yeah.
Man, it didn't seem like the last time when we shot pigs down there, I didn't see any fleas.
No, dude, it was maybe it was just because it was right there in that part of South Texas or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so gross. But luckily, you know, like we went in, showered right away, like, you know, but yeah, my legs were just hammer dog shit. Yeah, from fleas. So then,
just from what? Just from picking them up?
Yeah, just from picking them up. But the smell was the worst part. Like they smelled so bad, like sour pig shit. That's what they smell like. Disgusting, dude.
No wonder why they don't do anything with them.
Yeah. So I mean, we cut out like a couple of back straps or something, but like that was it. And I was just like, I haven't eaten anything yet. I think Brandon has some, but I was like, well, we'll see how that goes. But the guy's like, yeah, it's pretty bad, dude. He's like, it's like really sour. And I'm like, yeah, that's weird. You know, like I wonder why they taste that bad. So that's when you see like all these guys hunting Texas and they're just stacking pigs and they just dump them in a hole. I guess they taste terrible. But Brandon's got some meat, so we're going to try it. So. Yeah. But then,
yeah, they just pile them high and burn them probably.
So we shoot all these pigs.
I wonder why they taste so bad.
We have a great time.
I don't know.
He said the little ones taste good, but you know, I'm like, I'll shoot the big pigs. I'm not there. I'm not quite there to shooting the little pigs yet. But
yeah.
So
spend some time in Texas. You
shit.
It's like one dinner for you, Chris.
Oh, dude. So I load all this meat in these shitty Walmart coolers. We try and freeze it, and then we got to go to the airport. So I got 2 coolers. Matt has 2 coolers. And then I have my rack. Matt leaves his rack there because I got to do a bunch of like formaldehyde shit or whatever, the antlers. And so I'm rolling through the San Antonio airport. Again, the rifles are too wide to fit in any of their elevators because San Antonio is built by
Oompa Loompas?
It's not a, how do you, Doug, what's a nice way to say retard? I don't know. Doug can cut that out.
I don't know.
So whoever built the San Antonio airport's a bunch of freaking retards because they make literally the elevators. The doors are like as wide as this table. They're like 3-foot doors. Like I can barely walk through and
Couldn't
not
you
bump
just
my
like
shoulders.
bear hug your rifle case?
Well, so we're pushing them on the carts. Everything's
Yeah.
stacked up on these carts. So you go to push them in, and your rifle case is 5 feet wide.
Yeah.
You can't fit it in. So I got to unload the carts to get it in the
yeah.
elevator. What a pain in the ass, dude! It was so freaking irritating. So, anyways, we finally get to where we're going to take off. Alaska only has like one deal in the San Antonio airport, right? Like one little kiosk type deal. So we show up and the guy that we're going is like, I'd rather be earlier than late. And I'm like, dude, I'm the same way. I'd rather be much earlier than late. Well, the problem was, fellas, that we showed up 6 hours early and they opened the kiosk 2 hours before the flight leaves. So we had 4 hours in line by ourselves. Like none of the restaurants. There was like a coffee house and a hot dog stand.
Oh my
because we
gosh.
can't get through security to get to all the good restaurants, right? So literally, here we are stuck.
Standing there with your thumbs in your ass.
Dude, with coolers of meat, an Axis deer rack, a bunch of firearms. And I'm just like, you have got to be shitting me. I go, you can't go find somebody from Alaska just to check our stuff in. And he's like, no, man, sorry. I'm like, good.
It's like, they ain't here yet. No one's here.
Yeah, dude, I tried bribing people. The whole deal didn't work. So here we are standing in the San Antonio airport. Dude, people are like start lining up behind us. I'm like, we're not in line. There's no one here. And there was a bunch of, I don't know, that they were like I would say like, I think they were Laotian. Didn't know English. Mm-hmm. A whole family of these Laotian people line up behind us and no English. And I'm like, oh, we're not in line. And they just smile and nod their head. And I'm like, they don't speak English. They have no idea what we're saying. Dude, for 2 hours they stood there.
What?
Yeah, there's no one else in line. And we're like at the back of the line. The line kind of goes around us to the right. And these poor Laotian people are standing there. And then I'm just like, there's no one here. We're not in line. We don't, and they just would smile and nod, and I'm like, okay,
maybe they were waiting to check stuff too. I don't know.
Oh, dude, and it sucked so bad. We drank Matt bought us a bunch of coffees, and then finally we got to put our stuff in, and it's different than Seattle because you don't bring your rifles anywhere. You check your rifles right there. So the guy goes, yeah, put this in your gun case, and I go, do you want to look in or like? He's like, no. I'm like, am I going to have to come back? Or it's like, no. Because you, like in a normal, not normal, I don't know, maybe San Antonio's normal, Seattle's weird. You have to take your gun to a place, and a guy like swabs it, opens up, and looks at your guns and tells all the stuff, right? And then you have to lock it up, and they take it on a special cart and do all the stuff, right? Dude, here's my dirty underwear and my regular luggage. Open it up, sign the thing, put the declaration in there, lock it up, and the guy goes, okay, throw it on the deal. Like the regular Alaska Airlines guy, and I
just right on.
Right on.
Dang.
And I'm like, no one's gonna. He's like, no. I'm like, okay.
That's what it's like checking a bow. You just walk up and just check it.
Dude, it was super weird.
That'd be nice.
So on our way back,
that's awesome.
So it's me and Matt, and I bought the seats, right? So we're in not in first class, but like the row behind first class because you get like the drink privileges, which we really need because
free drinks.
Free drinks, right? I'm trying to take care of Matt, right? But I book a seat. I book like A and C. I don't book B because Matt's 75 feet wide, and I don't want to sit next to his big ass, right? Because his shoulders are 3 times wider than mine. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be real smart because like he's gonna drink like one Diet Coke. He can't have anything sugar free, otherwise his prostate kicks in. And he's got to pee 37 times. So I put him on the aisle, and then I put me on the window. That way I can tuck my shoulder into the window, right? I get the one seat that has like the airplane rib and no window. And so I'm cocked over like this into the middle seat, which sucked on the way there because I was smashing some poor lady, right? But luckily on the way back, no one was sitting in the middle seat. So it was like, dude, it was so nice. Like he's over there, I'm over here. He had his snack. Of course, he had a snack bag.
Yeah.
I had a snack bag too, but I ate all my snacks there.
So you're eating his?
Oh, dude, I wrecked his snacks, dude. Dude, he had all the good stuff.
Matt
like
always brings a lot of snacks.
Dude, the bison bars, and he had cranberries. It was so good, dude. And then, obviously, the cocktails. He had, I had something I'd never had before. He ordered me a espresso and hazelnut vodka with Coke.
That sounds disgusting.
It was really, I was like, dude, what? I'm not going to have one of those. And I had a Coke Zero, but it was surprisingly nice.
Really?
It was, I was like, hey, like I'm a bourbon guy, right? Like,
yeah.
I'd love a Woodford and just on the rocks, But he's like, hey, have a cocktail. And I'm like, I'm not going to, dude, that sounds gross. And I drink it. I'm like, ooh, that's nice.
Ooh, is this a vanilla Coke?
Yeah. What do you? Can I get some? Can I get some white Zin with this? Or like, geez, that was nice.
Snapping your wrists a little bit.
Oh, dude.
Oh boy.
Dude, he was working it. I'm not gonna lie. Like one of the ladies that was going by, he's like batting his eyes at her, and she gave us like some free food. And she looked at me and she looked at Matt and she's like, the weight of these guys' hearts is definitely food. Like,
through their stomachs.
Dude.
100%.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Let's give these boys some food. Yeah, but so it was a great trip. We got all our meat back. I got my rack back, no problem. I just gave it to Brandon at SeaTac, and so he hauled it over to Stuffed Taxidermy. He's going to, big shocker, he's going to life-size that Axis deer.
He's going to life-size it?
He's going to life-size it,
Oh,
yeah.
dude, that's awesome.
Where am I putting it? I have no idea.
Dude, what are you going to do?
I don't know.
Stuff.
I don't know. I'm gonna number one, I'm gonna beg my wife for forgiveness because I love her very much.
3/4 body mount water buffalo.
You're gonna have to start filling in that, honey. We gotta get rid of the weightlifting equipment.
Well, I can't. I need my weight, so I'm gonna have to get rid of.
Dude.
I'm gonna have to get rid of some walls, I think.
Yeah, we're starting knocking some walls out. Yeah,
maybe we start putting mounts in the theater.
Yeah, maybe.
You ever watched a movie next to a water buffalo?
Use it as a cup holder,
dude.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, and that was my Texas trip, and it was fantastic. I had a good time. I would totally go back. I'd definitely like to shoot more pigs. Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun. I'd like to have enough time to where I could like shoot different sizes of pigs and eat them while I'm there, and figure out like where the
sweet spot is.
Yeah. Because I'm in it for the meat.
Yes.
Well, remember that one that when we took the kids out in Texas?
Yeah.
With Black Rifle.
Yeah.
That pig didn't smell terrible.
It didn't smell terrible at all.
Yeah, and it seemed like the meat would have been good too.
That was a good sized pig too.
That was a decent sized pig.
Yeah.
It was a pretty big one.
Must just be where you were.
Yeah. Dude, they smelled so bad.
Maybe they're digging in the neighbor's trash or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
It could be.
Yeah, they smelled bad.
Those are Rio Bravo pigs.
Or they're eating all the guts out of the wounded Axis deer the neighbors are shooting.
Right, seriously. Seriously. Yeah.
That's classic.
Oh, giveaways, before we forget.
Oh,
I
yes.
was just going to bring that up.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, so we had...
You're welcome.
People are like, damn, these guys suck. So we had 2 giveaways, apparently, in the last episode. We did our own giveaway for that episode, and then we did a re-giveaway for the Unhinged podcast, right?
Oh, yeah.
The kids kit.
Yeah, the kids kit.
And we had, believe it or not, a guy comment that said, my 9-year-old would love to have Chris's old kit. And this is Kris Whitmore. At Kris Whitmore. So I'm assuming that's his full name, Kris Whitmore. So, okay. Kris.
Thanks, buddy.
Your 9-year-old kid is going to get Chris's old kit. And he's going to probably try to start a fire with that old gas stove.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell, brother.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome.
So, congratulations, Chris's kid. I don't know what your kid's name is, but have at it, kid.
Shoot us a DM. Let me know where you're at. Hopefully you're somewhat local and you can swing by the gun shop, pick it up.
Yeah, and if not, then just give us a mailing address, and we'll make sure to get that whole kit to you after we drain the gas out, because you can't send that through the postage. So, and then what was the other podcast, Doug? Was it the last one?
Oh boy,
wasn't your Big Frig mug?
Oh yeah, it was the Black Rifle Big Fridge mug.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was the last podcast. Hold on, stand by, folks. We got to pick one of these comments. We had 8 comments on there. Chance.
Pick us a winner, Jim.
Chance eats success. Listen to your podcast makes the workday a good one. Keep up the good work, guys. DIY hunting says, don't hunt in Hawaii. It sucks. Love the podcast, fellas. I'll get better at commenting. Mitch Baker says, been watching your podcast for a couple years now. Stumbled onto it when I was looking on the YouTubes to learn how to hunt black bears. I like that you guys are local and appreciate what you do and support hunting in Washington.
It's a good one.
Yeah, let's give it to him. Mitch Baker. Mitch Baker, send us a DM, and you won a Black Rifle coffee mug. And it sounds like you might be local, so maybe you can swing by the gun shop, or maybe we can mail it and just let us know.
Yeah.
So.
And side note, big thanks to everybody. I really appreciate people who comment.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I'm not a big commenter.
No.
I feel kind of weird sometimes when I do it, you know, but I appreciate it when other people do it. So kind of a double standard here, but thanks.
Yeah, I never comment on
No, like,
ever.
you know, I really do, because it's James had mentioned earlier that some people had listened and say, oh, yeah, James, we love the podcast. You know, we listen to it all the time. And it's pretty cool to hear people actually like listening to this shit. Cause I mean, it's a lot of effort to actually make this happen. It's not just powered by Coors Light and idiots, you know. It's a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. And if you're thinking about sending a comment on on this podcast, talking to me about ethics and chasing sheep with knives, just forget about it, because it's already passed through my head a million times.
Right?
So.
Yeah. We already passed that one.
Dude, I would stab
that ship has sailed.
I would
literally.
I would stab a sheep in a heartbeat. Let's be honest.
Until you're in that moment on your own.
Yeah.
Don't have a damn word to say
You
about
gotta
it.
do what you gotta do, right, Jim?
That's
We're
right.
gonna have buck knives make a spear next, I think.
Yeah, I think
Or
so.
you can like attach it to whatever you want.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
that'd be dope.
Quick attach
Yeah.
buck knife. I like that. Yeah.
Well, it's been a fun show, and it's going to be a minute until the next one, because we got another trip that we're going on here next week, and Kris is going to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yep.
So until next time, guys, stay humble and hunt hard.